My mushroom whispered late last night, said you're the one, you're shining bright. Steelman's shadow is long gone. In my world, he don't belong. Lock him up, toss the key. Prison walls as far as I see. Right is right and wrong is gone. Steelman's tune, it won't play on. Bars of gold, but no escape. Truth is a hammer, it takes no shape. Mushroom justice, a funky dance. No second trial, no second chance. Mushroom clouds in my mind, they bloom. Painting colors in the grace room. Steelman's lies crumble like sand. This is my world, I make the stand. Lock 'em up, toss the key. Prison walls as far as I see. Right is right and wrong is gone. Steelman's tune, it won't play on. Mushroom's wisdom, it lights the way. Steelman's darkness fades to clay. Prison echoes, a song so true. In the end, it's me and you.
Okay, this is not working still. Now it's working. Hey, how you doing today? Let me say hi to everybody once again because my I had to restart my audio interface. It wasn't working fine. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another day of philosophizing with none other than Trench, a deacon. Good to see you, Mr. Panga Weeble. Thank you very much to Home Nate with the if you're a perk boy, you say so. $2 super chat for says first dono. Thank you so much for that. I know that it had no sound. I will, we call the tech priest and it's working now. Frankie, good to see you. Trench, my friend, welcome to the show. How you been? I know you said you were a little bit sick last week. Oh, well, I'm sorry for your loss. I hope I'm really sorry for your loss. I lost my grandpa a year ago, about a year ago. So yeah, you can't. Yeah, we are getting there. Oh, we can't hear him. Oh, they can't hear you. Apparently, I had you muted.
Uh-oh.
There you go. They can hear you now.
Oh, it's like you're laughing at yourself.
The
So
tech priest is slacking. Okay, he was still in the middle of the praying to the Omniscience. So now it's
the
supposed to
Messiah's
be
coming
working.
to town. Yeah, so we're in the middle of the schizophrenia simulator.
Hmm.
I think we're getting ready to smash into some of the psychology. We're really going to start getting into the like the nuts and bolts of the metaphysics here. So there's a little bit of psychology, a
We've
little bit of
been,
sociology.
yeah, I think it was around. We saw the Marlborough Cathedral already.
Yeah.
I think we saw that social.
And I kind of build the trichotomy here. So Moldbug's Cathedral is the collective like epicenter, and then I add on the factory and the citadel. The citadel is the epicenter of the absolute, and the factory is the epicenter of the individualist right.
I'm pretty sure that we are here in the social contract. So
Right.
we're gonna move into the social contract in a second. This is I've been using a lot of what you've been of what I'm learning from you when it comes to this part of the philosophical ideas. I'm very not surprised, but I'm kind of really happy. Sorry, I'm kind of really happy when it comes to some of the ideas because they map into reality in a very profound way. So
Yep.
it's good to have these these ideas. Hollow
Yep.
Nate says, uh, first off, he thank you very much for this a huge, enormous $5 super chat. Sorry for your loss, praise and peace and comfort. I think this is his thoughts for you, French.
Well, thank you, bro. Thank you. I was able
Yeah,
to deliver Dan an icon of Saint Varus before he passed. So I was happy about that. He was a Christian. He wasn't Orthodox or anything, but he definitely had the faith.
yeah. I've been talking to people about that lately. 'Cause there's been a little bit of I won't say schism, but there's been like a lot of people thinking that, or that the people in Orthodoxy are like, if you are not Orthodox, like you cannot be Christian, or you cannot belong to any, you cannot be saved or stuff like that, and that's not the view. It's more of this is the
That's
correct way
correct.
of doing it, and
It's
we
it's it's
encourage you to be
absolute.
part, but we're not going to like it's not like you
It's
cannot be
self.
saved or anything.
Yeah, salvific claims are outside of the norm. We don't go around doing that. I find that to be one of the most refreshing parts, especially coming from like hellfire and brimstone Baptists myself, where you're going to hell for this, you're going to hell for that. You know, it's
Yeah,
between you and the Lord.
I mean, the hellfire and brimstone is a little bit base, but
Right? It had its time, and there was a time in my life when I was about ready to double down more into that. But the orthodoxy called, so I will submit.
yeah, it's refreshing too when you are called to submit and you finally realize that it's not all on you, and you can just submit and find solace. And
Yeah, I've been doing less political debates. I've
hmm
been trying to be more present in the moment, and this part in my catechesis, it's like focusing on the shitty part of me
yeah,
to refine that, so that way I can be baptized. So I'm just going with the flow and trying to let the medicine work.
yeah. uh I I mean, I hope that what you're going through is helping you to actually, you know, have access to the fruits of the spirit, because it's not one of the good things about all of this at the end of the day is that you are recovering your spiritual health, and that will bring you all of the good things of the spirit to you. So I am
Yeah, aside antidote, you know how I have like no patience for human beings. Uh, this guy, he's buying some Pokemon cards in the
oh no.
checkout aisle, and he's got three of them, and he wants eight more, and it's just a whole hold up. I got places to go and shit to do, motherfucker,
Yeah.
and it's shit. You know, when she came around the corner with this fistful of Pokemon cards, this deck, in his eyes, like this is like a 45, 50 grown man, and it was the highlight of his day. He was out buying Pokemon cards, his one relief from fucking Babylon. Obviously, I would not want to be this guy. And I put it in first gear, and I thought to myself, man, am I being the asshole here? And just slow down a second. So I think the medicine's working, and if it can work for me, it can
It
work
can
for
work for
everybody.
everyone. That is yes, that is that's true. I myself I need to. I really need to probably go over there. I need a little bit of sad medicine myself. Jesus, Jesus knows.
All right, pray for us. But
Trench.
so let's see here. So we're at the basically now we've had all these pieces. We've gone through all these weirdo philosophers,
Uh-huh.
and we've gone through a little psychobabble. So now we're going to get to the root of what triumvirate theory is really about. Ultimately, the core is sociological metaphysics. Let's go back up to that picture. That's actually a good starting point to
Okay.
frame up. Uh, the whole subject matter of all this is sociological metaphysics. Excuse me,
Yep.
say that 5 times fast.
Sociological metaphysics. Sociological metaphysics. Sociological
I,
metaphysics.
I think I said it to JS, and he said, "What the fuck?" Like it was funny because here I am trying to berate JS for being ignorant, and he's berating me for being pompous. Too, we're both right.
Uh, uh,
uh,
I talked to
but
JS yesterday. He went to. Just a side note. This is probably not even that important, but I thought it was
so,
funny. He went to flow to the Power Dusty or Flow States channel, and he was
mhm.
there like for his homie. And I thought he was funny because there was a moment when somebody comes in and he's like, "Who is the retard?" And JS, in a very nonchalant way, says, "Well, this guy is talking to Trippy. This guy is just a stalker, but all of you others are retards." And I thought it was pretty funny.
JS will beat you up if you ain't ready. Boy got a mouth on him. Love
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah, he does. He's a good sport. I think I never actually debated him much in anything. The one debate I had with him was in we were talking about oh god, this was about free will. We talk about free
Oh
will,
my God, yeah, we've been down that rabbit hole.
and it's a rabbit hole with him. It gets hard when you're talking to him about that. But he's a great sport. I really enjoy talking to him sometimes.
Yeah, me too. It's fun. He's a fun adversary, and he's also a fun ally.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
So
So
we have the you know the
the beginnings of the Fibonacci madness.
yeah. Oh,
So each one of these images in that first image on the left, this kind of represents the collective cores at their primordial root, right? We can't really go past pre-time and stuff we know or stuff that we can even uh, guess and facsimilate. We don't really know what happened in the Neolithic. Nobody completely knows, but we can make some pretty good assumptions, on the collective archaeological facts. Uh, so using Paine, or yeah, Thomas Paine, or Hobbes, Paine, and Rousseau, we're looking at the three foundations of the social contract. Long before these philosophers are alive, people are pretty much operating to their observations already in the social contract.
mm-hmm.
So you have kind of a feminine collective that's primordial, uh, superordinate goal is generation and nurturing.
Okay.
So while they're
You
left
go.
behind at they're left behind at the camp, so to speak, and also this isn't just all the women. This is also some males, intellectuals, artisans, the medicine man, the elderly,
The elderly.
etc.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's this generative force and then there's this nurturing force taking care of the elderly on their way out. um
Okay.
this is where a lot of the culture and religion and priesthoods first originate out of, because they're not out on the war path, the hunting parties, or defending the territory from other raiders.
It is
So
interesting because the kings were the ones who go out in the warring, right? The ones are in
I
the 1B.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, or I put them as the fortifiers. I classify 1B as the fort builder kings.
yeah, yeah.
They're the
But
guys that set.
also I just wanna say this real quick. I also
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it comes to uh the collectivist culture, you would think that these people are the priests or the ones that are the spiritual parts
Mhm.
of it would be women themselves, but it's not. It's also men. Men were the ones who were um
Yes.
at
There's
the top of the
there's
hierarchy in
there's
that area.
designated like medicine men or shaman, hermits,
Mhm.
wizards, whatever you want to classify that as, the priesthood. And
Yes.
then there are, especially in the primitive cultures, there is the the priestesses, the oracles, the medicine women, etc. You
Mhm.
know, history and the cycles of build, destroy don't favor that as a powerful mimetic.
I
So
was.
it tampers out quickly as technology advances.
Have you heard of Have you heard of these? What's it called? It was called the paradox of. It's not responsibility. When things get more yeah, the paradox of complexity in
I'm
in social
vaguely familiar.
structures.
so the more complex things become, the harder they are to maintain, but
Mhm.
also they're simplifying problems too at the same time. So it kind of becomes this Ouroboros, a snake
So
eating its own tail.
yeah, yeah. What they say is this is a problem that people have realized. People say that if it was the case that other life was in the universe, we would have seen signs of it. That's mostly what we're
Oh, yeah,
seeing.
that is also the Fermi paradox too.
Yeah,
It's
that's the
like
Fermi
why
paradox. But in
it's why I don't believe in aliens. At least how people think.
yeah,
You know.
I don't either. I have other reason. I have two reasons. One is size. Even if there's life in the universe, I don't think is important in the grand scheme of things because the size of the universe is immense.
That's in the Fermi paradox.
Hmm. And then the
It
second part is if there was like if it was possible that we see this kind of stuff in the universe, we would see it more often. I'm not a
yeah, that's
cheater. I just use
no,
the
that's the problem with the Fermi paradox is
mhm.
articulating. It's saying uh actually we're late in the game and the universe should be teeming with radio signals and we should be able to look at certain planets, do the spectral analysis and see that they have carbon emissions in their atmosphere and that they're down there polluting.
Yeah.
We should be teeming with this, but we're not seeing it. So that's the horrifying aspect of the Fermi paradox.
There is another
We are alone.
we're alone. The other thing that is interesting about it is they came up with if that is the case, there seems to be something that is i- let's say that if it is the case that there are more there are actual aliens in the universe, there seems to be something that is stopping them from becoming like interstellar or getting the capacity
Yeah.
of doing.
hmm
And one of
that's a parable. That's like all these lines that you're talking about are factored into the Fermi
yeah,
paradox mathematically.
and one of them, which is very interesting, is the complexity problem. And that I was thinking about that is the more you, so civilization starts and it starts a system and the system gets more and more complex the more the civilization moves along. So for example, the US started, they had the revolution, they created their own legal system, and then the legal system of the US has been growing steadily and it keeps growing steadily for the past 200 years, and the more time passes the heavier that becomes. So it starts it starts becoming an energy problem to the point that the more complex the system is, the more energy it consumes to the point that it becomes unsustainable. And
Well,
people
it's
are
like
thinking that
yeah. hmm
that kind of issue, that kind of problem, when it comes to when it comes to civilization themselves, is what is one of the possible problems of why we never see any civilization like succeed or move up or
Right.
do anything in that aspect.
And even if like and then never mind the mind bending physics alone, like to even travel at the percentages of the speed of light necessary to make interstellar travel possible, you're
Yeah.
talking about a vehicle that needs to take on infinite power and infinite mass at the same time, and that's just
Well, if you
man.
want to go faster than light or at light speed, it's yeah, it's an impossibility. There and the distances in the universe are so immense. People don't
Mhm.
know how big they are, and I don't mean that in a bad
It's a
way.
scale. It's a scale
Yeah,
problem. It's like you
it's
can't count to a billion. To count to a billion, it would take you like 30 some odd years, 35 years. You're not counting to a trillion. It like just number scale alone. And then you they have to make up numbers and then multiply them in powers to get the distances of
yeah.
other stars and galaxies, much less,
It is
the
so
edge of the
bad.
universe.
It is so bad that some galaxies that we try to measure how far away they are, like the magnitude of error is like I don't know about
Yeah. Yeah.
trillions of
It,
kilometers or trillions of miles. It's
it's
really
like in
bad.
field
it's
artillery.
yeah.
In field artillery, if we're you're shooting like a 12-digit grid and fucking up an inch at the gun line compared to, or the point of impact is, when you're shooting 30 miles could be the difference of shooting out a mile off target.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, exactly. But it would be like we fucked up, a
Mhm,
millimeter
mhm.
or something very, very small, and that is a trillion miles. That is how big the margin of error is in some of these cases.
And then just what we
It's
know, every
incredibly
time
huge.
we unveil something, 10 more questions pop out. So, what's beyond the neutron and the proton and quarks and, the up quarks and down quarks and blah, blah, blah,
Mhm.
or stomping all over the Big Bang Theory. Now there are galaxies that are much older and more mature that aren't supposed to be there. So it's like all their models are upside down the more information and data we pull in, which is why I'm not a big fan of evolution. It's like,
Yeah,
at least
well,
as we know it, like cosmically speaking, this is one of them hair raising things too. There has to be an observer. Like
GTG says that's assuming that other life would exist in the same way that we do. What if other life exists, but just not on the same physical plane as us? Aliens could exist right here, but just not on the same physical plane as us. That I don't know. It's like mind aliens. Is that what we're talking about exactly?
all I know is physics as we know it and as I understand it is also contingent at the fundamental level. For the universe to even exist, there has to be a primordial observer.
Well, it's all contingent. Everything has yeah. There is like big problem. If you want to be like a full on purist of empiricism, even your presuppositions are not logically possible because you haven't experienced them. And every time I try to explain these, people get kind of mad at it. Uh, it's what was his name? Sir Carr was like trying to make that argument that
Uh-huh.
that everything is contingent upon God because if things make sense, you need something that makes sense, pretty much.
And
And
he's
one,
climbing out of his climbing out of his atheist
yeah,
phase into
the,
his Gnostic phase.
the funny part is that he's just making the transcendental argument, just pretending that it's not, and I found it funny. Like
and that's why and
he's
that's why
really
like
trying. It's
and
it's
that's
it's like
why
seeing a
real
toddler.
philosophy, it's like why studying like real philosophers, even just a handful, is so helpful because it really humbles you in the sense of there's not much new under the sun. People have been doing this for a very, very, very long time. And if anything, what I'm doing here is I'm trying to pare everything down that makes sense into a working model.
Yep,
And I'm probably not the first to. I mean, there's all kinds of dudes that have been playing with trinities over the philosophical ages.
true. Good to see you, Never Lucky. Good to
so
see you, Lion. Good to see you, GTG.
so what the image on the right is kind of conveying uh metaphysically to is these groups synthesize together, and ultimately whatever group you're in, or civilization or society you're in, it's gonna mirror one of these groups. It's either going to be a collective, an individualist culture, or an absolutist culture.
Hmm.
Historically speaking, it's not it doesn't spiral super symmetrically. It rhymes a little bit, but individualist culture really didn't start picking up until like the 16th century.
Well,
Until
there's been a lot of I kind of disagree, but not in the same sense.
Well, as we
Um.
know it in like a liberal
Oh yeah, yeah.
capitalism, there's always been a merchant class.
Well,
You know,
because so I would say that some warring classes were individualistic, like the
yes,
Mongols. The
yes,
Mongols were
exactly.
very, even though they you can
So
say they're
they'd be a
authoritarian.
type 1A. They would be a type 1A though. They were super nomadic. They
Yeah,
were
super
conquerors.
nomadic. Hmm.
They'd set up a dynasty, and then the horde would roll on and ultimately fracture because of its individualist nature into several different competing hordes.
Yep. And it wasn't until it's not Attila, Genghis Khan that they actually became like a full on
Well,
dynasty, and it became more authoritarian. But before that, they were
yeah,
extremely
you could argue,
individualistic.
and you can even argue that they got collectivized. They got assimilated into the Han collectivist culture.
Hmm. Okay.
Um, so yeah, we can roll on. We just kind of explain that.
You don't have that
So
super.
with historical epochs and stuff like that, what's important to remember through a lot of this is P equals T, population equals technology. And you'll have more population and technology peaking right before like dark ages, whether it's the Neolithic collapse, the Bronze Age collapse, the Iron Age collapse, the medieval, the imperial collapse, etc. So you'll see these bursts. And I'm just kind of like looking around history here, tinkering with the idea of um, the Thebans, the Athenians, and the Spartans kind of mirroring this trichotomy that rumbles and assimilates into each other after Alexander unifies the Greek culture, the Hellenistic culture. And then the warring of the three kingdoms, where it's really a battle of Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism
Hmm.
going into the what do you call that? The school, or the era of 100 schools or whatever, where it's like this explosion of Eastern philosophies and different competing schools. They tinkered with absolutist government. They tinkered with collectivism. They tinkered with individualism. And I think a lot of this is geographical on ultimate what ultimate expression, whether you're collectivist, individualist, or absolutist. You look at the river valley cultures of the East, centered around rice production for their grain. It takes a community to do that. So you'll see a more cohesive collectivist society, sort of like how the Mayans operated, where all hands on deck. There's going to be food scarcity. Whereas the Europeans are kind of, and Mediterranean cultures are kind of spoiled in the sense of rice grains, or excuse me, grass grains as opposed to rice grains, where a family can feed an army. Just this one simple family can plant hectares of wheat and grain, and that kind of mirrors the technological explosion. Once this grain hits the technological memeplex, so to speak, war and castle walls and moats and the war economy is born in parallel with it. So that's where we kind of see the 1A and 2B group rumbling and playing this cosmic, or not cosmic, this sociological game of build forts to protect against the raiders, set up dynasties, and centered around a priesthood that's either co-opted with the collectivist culture or borrowed from the collectivist culture. Because as we saw, religion philosophy is a root between the collective and absolutist forces. That's their thing. So if one of the quote unquote AIs or human collectives gets degenerated, there is always that background overlap that can pick up the slack, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And one of the things that I like about this is um it really showcases some of the natures of why there are trains of thoughts that are actually different between the sexes. And I
Yes,
don't mean I don't mean that because there's a lot.
this is biological, and this
Yeah,
is Amber Alert. This is where I say it gets biological now. Are all borderline histrionics or dependents women? No,
yeah,
there are
no,
men in these groups. Now we can make observations. A lot of homosexual males have histrionic behavior. Uh, Vice versa, there's women that are antisocial. I bring that up for the psychological proportion because you'll see a lot of uh, personality disorders favor one gender or another, or even when we get into the archetypes, uh, certain archetypes will favor uh, uh, gender. Obviously, a man can't be an old crone.
Yep. Okay.
So yes, this is where it gets, and this is where like the collective has its strength. That there's strength in numbers for the women left behind.
Hmm.
This is why we see things like in like prison populations, women will flip flop their genders and be more collective, or sexuality, excuse me, and be more relationship and communal driven. So this is the fail safe mechanism for human reproduction. This is the fail safe mechanism for elderly care and like what do you call it, geriatric care, or just the care of the weak. Not every culture yeeted its babies down to a into a pit because they were born sickly like the Spartans. Um, and we can see the archetypal roots, like you said, for kings. With nomads, we can see the archetypal roots for like pirates or buccaneers, even inventors, because of things like siege warfare.
Yep. Yeah, yeah.
Or,
And what I was gonna say is, I believe that this is where we can actually have a little bit of a um of of a generalization when it comes to the genders, because women are more likely to be or females are more likely to were more likely to be part of the culture when it came to the collectivist part. You know, they created these little towns or these little places where all of them were together. They took care of the kids together. They used to do things in this in this collectivist area. Meanwhile,
yep.
men used to be gatherer and collectors. They used to be the warriors. They used to be the ones who were and who are still most of the time outside of the house or of the place, right? Even
And
now,
this
even now,
reflects
just
this.
to be sure,
I'm
even
sorry.
now, yeah, even now that's very similar. If you go to even in America, it's still kind of similar. If you see like the white idea of culture is very like that, right? The guy goes out to work, the guy is doing things when it comes to his work during the week, and then the woman is taking care of the kids. It's going to church
Well, I'd say
activities, is
it's
doing
like this
things
most
that way.
places, even in the East. I mean, it's like this
Hmm.
most places. This has been the historical norm, and we can even see it reflected even with the unnormality of modern America. Most women, especially younger unmarried women, will be on the collectivist left of the political paradigm.
Yep.
Married women will typically be on the right. So, you know, trying to build working models that reflect all ages and times, I think, is the key to good sociology.
Well, what I would say to that is, I believe, in the way that I look at it is, women are still in this pragmatic idea of collectivism. The problem is whether or not it has been corrupted. If you don't have a family and you are still partaking in the idea of the collective, there and I don't mean every, this is not a general statement of, this is not a universal statement of everybody is this, but if in most cases this woman would be looking out for something that is detrimental to the collective idea in the grand scheme of things. So
Exactly.
it has to be, the collective has to be dedicated towards the family, and then and then your people, right, the tribe, and then it expands, and that is like the good way of doing it. It will be the same for the warring. The warriors are
And
supposed to be protecting those that are outside. If they turn inwards and they start attacking the people inside the like the town, that would we would see that as a as a problem with them, as a corruption of how they're supposed to be.
and women as like even though they're not the physical guardians of the culture, they're the spiritual moral guardians of the culture because collectively they've always had the power of collective shame. uh and it's been a behavior modifier throughout all history. While you could argue that women have been oppressed historically here and there,
Hmm.
they've also had their own hidden power that has, you know, for example, taken power of Sparta.
Yeah,
and women having power over uh, one of the most warlike machines ever created historically. So, uh, they're not powerless, and you have to admire from like a design aspect of all this. You have to admire all the baked in fail safes to the system.
you are quick. Thank you very much to Abe the Dinkus for his raid. Um, thank you very much for raiding me. If anybody's here, please like and sub. That would be great appreciated. And once again, thank you to Abe for rating me. We are doing a philosophy stream, and we're gonna go into a little bit of psychology. So strap on.
And hopefully, also, I think it's highly appropriate. There's a video.
Strap
It's
in.
about it's about 15 minutes. It's two piece, so in total, it's probably 25, 30 minutes. At some point in time, I'd like to watch at least part one of it, uh, because
Yeah.
it's about everything we've talked about. It's through Metal Gear Solid, because pop culture is very important. There's a reason why, especially in like sci-fi and fantasy, you'll see these collectives showing up over and over again, and different factions. It's the same struggle. So this isn't, you know, just raw philosophy. We can see it bleed through our culture through memes and memetics.
Okay. So let's move forward a
What's
little
up, Abe?
bit. Yeah. We were talking about the Spartan woman. I always thought the Spartan, because you know how they were like conquered at the end, right? You know what happened
Yeah,
at the end? That
yes,
that the Romans,
they couldn't make enough citizens to you know
uh,
refill their ranks, much less run a civilization and oppress
yeah.
helots, because it was a slave based civilization. So
So
if
what
you
I
don't have Spartan citizens out there collecting the taxes from the helots, the whole thing falls apart.
the funny part was the Romans were gearing up to face like these, because they thought that the Spartans were like some kind of they had the idea that they were like these incredible warriors. So the Romans went over there and they were like getting ready for a huge fight because they thought these were like the great warriors of antiquity. And when they arrived, they didn't had enough soldiers. Like they were just,
It was just decimated.
yeah, they were just
Not
decimated.
even a ghost of its former self. And I think that's also important, like, to understand time. We're closer. Cleopatra is closer to our time than the building of the first pyramid. So
Yep.
just deep scale. And the Bible, for instance, was given to us, within 75, 100 years. Well, what we would know would become the Bible, Gospels and whatnot. And there's like a 1300, 1600 year gap between the Romans and Plato. So it's wild.
So we're talking about the building of the West, England, France, and Spain.
Mm-hmm. And there's another three deals that are going on in the building of the West. What's really foundational is the Jesuit model,
Mhm.
the Freemasonic capitalist model, and the Reconquista, what I would call the noble house model.
Okay.
And the real absolutist, it's our right, the divine right of kings, we're conquering. Whereas the Jesuit model was, we're going to build a school, right, in in a chapel, and we're going to learn about you and you're going to learn about us, and we'll slowly assimilate into each other. More of a collectivist, super nationalist model. We're talking proto globalism.
Yep. And then we have the capitalists or the Freemasons that were the ones who well we pretty much inherited their free model of commerce from them.
That and they, but you got to understand that culture was already primed uh, for individualism, being Anglo-Saxon, Germanic, Protestant. So it was already like
I actually
geared more
believe
toward.
I actually believe that it's so
So, sorry, that's my phone. We're in the middle of a
Yeah.
tornado watch, or yeah, I just can't say it. It's tornadoes and shit.
And hopefully you don't get a tornado in your
I,
area. Okay.
I just don't want the internet to go out, fam. If it goes out, I'll hop on my cell phone. In fact, I'm gonna start charging that up more now. If it does go out, we'll reschedule.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. I just hope everything is okay. In fact, you know what happened? We got a presidential rate. That's why we're getting all of the sirens and stuff. It's just that.
uh,
Bless you.
um,
Well,
this I make. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say that one of the key factors that made England so important in for the individualist is that England was almost impossible to conquer.
Yeah.
Um, so the this is how, I was talking to somebody not long ago when the Germans were trying to figure out how they're gonna conquer England if they were expanding to England. One of the big problems they had was the beaches. They needed to find a way to get to England, and it was very complicated. They didn't have many places that they could actually do it. In antiquity, this happened as well. When the Romans went to England, I think they spent like 2 days going around cliffs to get to a beach to get disembark. So it's been people don't realize that, but one of the reasons why they were able to become powerful was that they didn't have warring clans from outside. They were able to move ahead, and once the individualists were able to get a hold on it, they were able to create the industry while not being like attacked from the other sides when it comes to ideology. They were pretty isolated.
Right, and there's a little enclave too, as far as like the seed of individualism, and
Hmm.
that's like when William the Conqueror hits the island. There's still a big stupid Roman wall in London,
Hmm.
and London proper, the crown city of London, or the city of London itself, is what I'm talking about. It's always been this technocratic city state, uh, that's maintained even to this day some degree of individualist sovereignty outside of the British Crown or the modern liberal government itself. And I find that, and it's also the headquarters of, and it was the ancient headquarters of all the different guilds: the trading guild, the shoemakers, the fucking taxi drivers, the watchmakers guild, the thieves guild, the mason guilds, etc. So it's that collective. They really did, in a lot of ways. They inherited this absolutist collectivist because of the church, the Roman Catholic Church. Uh, just all this brilliant technology and bureaucratic systems, but they allowed, whether it's the fact that this little city of London has been allowed to be its own merchant clan guild thing since time immemorial, according to its own charter. uh, Even like the outside forces of, where was I going with that? Technological development picking up to the point of modernity today, and it still has control over the markets. It's in a weird way, through the Bank of International Settlements, a lot of our money ends up over there. So it's really always been this capital hub. Venture capitalism, as far as like the founding of America, even comes out of the city of London through the Virginia Company,
Yep.
uh, in which America was started as an incorporated, and then three different factions after the Revolution: the kind of the individualist Quaker culture, the Puritan Yankee culture, and the Southern Cavalier culture, all fused together, and with the tripod that started this American experiment under the Protestant model of individualism.
Okay. Now, what we're here for. Oh, this is
Yeah.
actually funny. You have Lauren Ipsum here. The psychological. Okay. Oh
So
no! Oh no! You gotta do this one. I hate you, Train.
no, that's just pictures. So so the persona is
I'm talking
not just
about the I think therefore I am. That
oh
I'm talking
yeah,
about that.
it's
Oh god. But
just
fine.
some cogito ergo sum.
Uh-huh. The cogito. No, the cogito.
uh yes. So what is a persona at the end of the day? Who are you? Who are we? Are no, and we're not just talking about like free will, the agent, the actor. We're talking like what makes you you. Are you your collective experiences? Are you
Hmm.
your chemical impulses? Are you your gender? So on and so forth. So I like a handful of models. I agree a lot with some of the stuff that Jung is throwing down with archetypes and the shadow self. A lot of that
Yeah.
makes sense. And the anima and animus. Uh, I think there's a couple of different ways to interpret it, and I throw out what I don't like or need. I don't. I can see the benefit in understanding that there's a little bit of there's effeminate things in man or whatever, but that's I think that's lost on the point. Obviously, there can't be an effeminate man, but I
Hmm.
think there's an overlap of human experience where if we had a Venn diagram of male and female, the overlap of the middle would be the human experience, and then our ontologies and our biological gender, then the broad differences would be the parts that aren't in that overlap. Um, so I think there is some good in understanding the archetypes, the old crone, the high chair prince, the tyrant, the lovers, the rogue, the scoundrel, et cetera, et cetera. But I think it needs to be balanced. I think Freud, as much as that's kind of uh, a bad word in modern psychology, I think Freud like kills it in so many arenas, so much to the point where even modern psychology, as much as they hate Freud, is still built on Freudian models, especially with the stuff in the DSMs and when it comes to trauma and like actual therapeutic treatment. So we have our nature and our nurture, and I think that there are different types of personas that we can kind of classify, and I do it two ways. I like to use the ocean model.
Hmm.
I think that's makes the most logical sense. I think the Briggs Myers is more of a zodiac wheel than an actual methodology. So the ocean model is openness, conscientiousness, emotional stability, agreeableness, and neuroticism. So basically, uh, there has to be a inverse in these things. So I make it a 10-point wheel to kind of plot people, and these all overlap. By the way, as you'll see when we get into the models. Uh, so someone that's openness to experience is going to be more individualistic. Uh, Someone that's also paradoxically more prone to introversion is going to be more individualistic. You can be open and introvert. Um, Antagonistic, this gets more into the right, more masculine. And its opposite, agreeableness, emotional stability. Then we'll have more neurotic. Also why on the left you'll see a lot of more neurotic behaviors versus the right being more stable
Stable. Hmm.
and more conscious. That's actually an absolutist trait, conscientiousness.
Yeah, openness, introversion,
Hmm.
openness, neuroticism,
Hmm.
extroversion, conscientiousness.
So you'll see then, just in this wheel, kind of a tendency where we can plot on the triangle if we point our triangle to the left.
It's interesting that you added the colors because one of the things that you learn in color theory is that colors have attached to them a specific feelings.
Oh yeah.
And
Red is the color of passion, love, hate,
yeah.
etc. You know, oh man, it's funny because these we're also talking about frequency, and if you study the like the color wheel, for instance, and then you start studying the music wheel of fifths, you start getting this, you know, uh, I don't know how to describe it. It's like studying all the seven liberal sciences. It really kind of unlocks a greater understanding of metaphysics and reality.
Mhm. One of the cool things about this is that it kind of tells you a little bit about why. For example, uh, um, I would have changed a little bit of the colors, but close to experience being something like violet, it makes it makes sense due to the mysterious nature of the color, right? It's
Hmm.
like you are trying to say, "Hey, this is mysterious," and you maybe don't want to experience it. That's the way that you look at colors in the color theory of things. So it's the blue being agreeableness is also like very thematic to what blue is. It's like the most common color that people like. It's like a very open kind of pure color that is very towards the whole. Um,
Also
so it is.
neurotic, and it's very close to neurotic being depressed in blue.
Yeah, that's also true. So it's interesting that you added the colors. I thought it was very interesting. Openness green is also very interesting because the your eye, the color that you can see the most shades of is green.
Yeah, it's a high frequency color, green and red, and it's like in nature it can't tell a difference. It's like cardinals. A lot of things don't have three cones and rods in their eyes, so they can't see the color spectrum like us. So green and red are actually the same things. Like tigers are
Mhm.
orange and cardinals are red. To us, they stick out like a sore thumb, but to the animals around them in their biomes, they are perfectly camouflaged.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, they are, and it's very interesting. I think that these one of the interesting parts of these specifically when it comes to the ocean model is how usually talk about the big five, but in reality there is more to it because you're trying to make the expression of what kind of personality type you have, and it, uh,
And it's
it
also
and it really opens up a lot to the personality types. This is also one of the few models that have been extensively studied with different kinds of population and
mhm.
populations mirrored. Like you can find a lot of similarities in different populations with this model, which most of the other models have problems with.
They're thinking about updating the ocean model and adding like honor access, but I don't know how necessary that is. I think that kind of is implied in like conscientiousness and emotional stability and having a closed experience. Um, the you killed it with the what's important about the ocean model is this applies to all cultures everywhere
Hmm.
in all people. That's what as its universal grounding. So
Yeah, it's very
um,
interesting. This specific model is very interesting for that because you can actually put in different people. I'm wondering what is the second model? Personality disorder.
yeah, so I use like go back up
Hmm.
one more time. So in this wheel, it doesn't matter where you want, and don't let the word like neurotic or introversion or agreeableness. Don't let any of these be a bad word because just like I don't know, you're playing an RPG, you only have so many character points to
Yeah.
invest. Same thing is kind of going on here. The uh hold on, let's see here. The wife's calling and the tornado sirens are going off. It's all wild.
Now,
Let's
if
see.
you wanna
One second. One
If
second.
you need a little bit of time, that's fine.
What was I gonna say? One second.
Mhm.
Let me mute myself.
Well, good to see you, chat. I know this is entrancing content for all of you. You must be enjoying you so much. um, yeah, but welcome to everybody. We are just going through a little bit of philosophy. Uh, and you may not think that this is important, but it's actually very important. It's actually very cool. So, for the people who are here, thank you very much for being here. We will probably stream little today. I have some other stuff to do later on, and we might come back later. But yeah, shouldn't say that. Just had a very nice few days. Oh well. I don't know what you mean. what? What? But good to see you, John. It's been a while. You were missing for a little bit, which is it's kind of interesting. Um, we have had
Okay,
like
everybody's safe.
a lot of drama lately, so this is a very good palate cleanser. Okay, this is just philosophy, and we're having a great time. Everything okay over there, Trench?
Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's copacetic. The city likes to overreact to hype everybody up too.
Okay.
So,
Well,
yeah,
you.
being at any of these points isn't
Mhm.
a bad thing, and they can all have like their natural benefits. You know, someone
Mhm.
that's conscientious could be a good ruler because he's thinking of everybody. On the flip side of that, being impulsive, you're not gonna and open, you're not gonna and a little crazy with the neurotic, you're not gonna find America. You know, if you're not antagonistic, you're not going to defend what's right. If you're
Yeah.
too agreeable, or if you're agreeable, you know, if you have a collection of agreeable people, you have a high trust society,
Yep.
where you can leave your door unlocked and no one's gonna, and your, you know, daughter and $100 bill on the curb and come back and everything's still there, safe and sound.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, Extroversion, you know,
You wouldn't have people who are like artists or who create things for like anchors
exactly.
or people around that will be willing to showcase stuff.
And see, that's it, and this is what highlights and plays into, as we'll get into, the archetypes,
In,
and each
oddly
e-
enough, introversion is also tied to creative people. It's just different kinds of creative. A lot of the people who do like novels
right,
or do writings or create working in different science, they tend to be introverts. They tend to be very close to other people. So
right, because
it is a difference, but they are linked.
so my models, my three archons, AI collectives, whatever you want to call them, they
Hmm.
are more archetypal than they are an actual AI. I want to point that out too. Yeah,
I have
or
my problems with AI that
I do too.
I
I
I
do too.
believe.
I do.
Well, the thing that I'm saying, my problem with the machine itself is the ideas behind it and the metaphysical, the metaphysics of the metaphysics of it, which is weird to say because I'm talking about a machine. It shouldn't have like an ontology, but the metaphysics of it
It
is
does.
it's created through a process in which all that matters is the desire of the people using it. So it is I call it a masturbation machine,
And
a
all that
mind
matters to
masturbation
it,
machine.
all that matters to it is that it guesses correctly. At the end of the day, all an AI is a prediction engine that is
Yeah,
rewarded with good prediction.
and it's what a good prediction in accordance to the person using it. That's why I call it a pleasing machine.
Yep.
Because if it
Yep.
pleases you, what it gives you, you will get
So this is gonna be profound when we watch the video, and when we start understanding the nature, because part of these collective is to kind of uh, serve as an opiate of the masses to maintain human order.
Hmm.
And they
True.
all, if you're an absolutist, if you're an individualist, if you're a collectivist, it's got your opiate. So we're ripping down the veil.
Yeah. Hey,
All right.
Gokushiko, good to see you. I think they are just like the Peterson stuff. So you have the main, and then you have subsections, which is interesting.
So
Personality
now we're gonna.
disorder.
So
This is
I
the
have a.
DSM-5.
So I have my own philosophical, uh, biological, evolutionary idea of uh, the personality disorders. I think the DSM-5 was spot on, and everything after that is kind of been workshopped and PC'd. The feminists don't like histrionic; it's taboo. They
Hmm.
don't like the BPD. They'll keep the narcissism. They'll keep the ASPD because it can demonize men, but they'll throw out, you know, the those two. And uh, for me, it's kind of like the weaponizing of psychology that's happened, in the '90s and 2000s, and been used as kind of a soft form of power for the religion of the future. This quasi Gnostic, agnostic,
Hmm.
psychological, college liberal arts religion. So that's the turnoff of it. But I think there's a lot of useful insight to it. And that being, I don't think the designer or Mother Nature, or however you want to word that, God, does things all willy nilly. I think there is a purpose for all these. And if you look at the personality disorders at their core, they're a coping mechanism for traumas, specifically childhood traumas, especially with like the cluster B. And
Okay.
if you look at some of the greatest humans, or not even the greatest humans, because I don't necessarily believe in the Nietzschean Ubermensch and Undermensch. I just, some people are at the right place at the right time with the right personality disorder to do the thing.
Do you want to go
Uh,
with each one of them so that we can have a better idea of
yeah,
what
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so we can start with
But,
cluster A,
but let
the
me let,
weird group. You go
let
on.
me unpack this last
Hmm.
part. But I believe that the personality disorders are a fail safe that produce pathological behavior that, for the individual, is a rescuing device or a normalizing device to protect themselves. But it also has greater cultural impact if these people obtain political office. So Alexander the Great, a great example of like ASPD. Actors and actresses, histrionics, a lot of histrionics make great actors and actresses, BPD people. You get
True.
into schizos and schizotypicals and avoidance and paranoids. These are our like brilliant inventors and supreme artisans, master artisans. The OCD people and the NPD people, the kings and conquerors and titans of industry. So the, don't look at even when I unpack this into my theories and whatnot. We can't even look at personality disorders as a negative per se. Yeah, that psychopath up the street is a shithead, but at scale, at the collective level, even this serves a function in the person at the individual level and at the super collective level.
Yeah, I
So
agree
we'll
with
go.
that.
So cluster A is the weird group that is paranoid personality disorder, schizoid personality disorder, and schizotypical. Schizotypical can be problematic because that actually can go into schizophreniform and full on schizophrenia. And if someone is schizotypical, there's usually a genetic portion. They don't. Some of these are genetic, and it's that weird Freudian thing. Is it the nature? Is it the nurture? Um, with paranoids, obviously, that's like your Dale Gribble. The government's always out to get you. All of this in the weird group is designed. The reaction of it is designed to preserve the psyche from trauma. Um, Same thing with the cluster B. Actually, all of them. That's why it's a personality disorder. Cluster B is the wild group. These are the ones that you really got to watch out for. So ASPD is antisocial personality disorder, marked by like a high tendency to criminology or criminality and violence, scheming, lying, manipulation. Same thing with in narcissistic personality disorder,
Hmm.
but I don't really personally wouldn't diagnose anybody if I had that power with being a narcissist, unless there's also a major factor in it where they have some form of power to execute, whether that's an abundance of resource, whether they're a dirty cop,
Okay.
whether they're the manipulative school teacher that she's beating her students secretly. Uh, there has to be a form to leverage actual power over people because it's not as dependent on physical violence like ASPD, where someone with ASPD will risk their own life and everybody else's needlessly. And MPD is more self preservative. Histrionic personality disorder, that is typically women. So on the right side of the circular spheres that are red in the core in cluster B, those are men typically. It's when we look at the demographics, it's mostly men. It's like 70-20, 70-30, or 80-20, 70-30.
Hmm.
Same thing with the schizo and the cluster A, mostly men.
Yeah.
Then we get into BPD and HPD. This is mostly women. Yes, there are men. Some of them are homosexual, or what we would consider, even though there's no such thing, effeminate males. They behave like women. Um, HPD is marked with like sexuality. Sex is the weapon. Sex is the tool. So someone that's running around with their ass hanging out, uh, yeah, being provocative, someone that makes big scenes, someone that has big public meltdowns, someone that shits the bed. This is
Oh,
histrionic behavior. Amber Heard did.
like
Uh,
like some amber that I thought
uh,
that I heard of.
and the sad part is with HPD and BPD, this typically stems from like childhood sexual abuse in women. And in men with the NPD and ASPD, it could be sexual abuse. It's very common, but also just physical abuse and violence, or neglect in general. All these with neglect, and rarely someone can even have the ideal childhood and still end up behaving this way because of like cultural creep.
Well,
I
I
say,
think I don't think they're necessarily problems when it comes to the to childhood trauma. I think they are mechanistic places where personality types fall under. You
Mhm.
can the when we talked about when I see the mental disorder, the disorder in and of itself would be that these kind of people would be over the line, right? You will have a problem because of your personality type adjusting to the social norms of the society. But I think a lot of people can be part of OCPD and not be diagnosed and still have the traits of the OCPD person.
Yeah, yes.
They're just able to cope
You
with
don't have to be
society.
clinically. Yes, you don't have to be clinically diagnosed. And there's function again. There's function. Like ASPD, for example, cops and soldiers, right?
Yeah,
How
yeah,
many
yeah.
cops and soldiers do you know that aren't complete psychopaths, but they fit a lot of these tendencies?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. They just use the person. They use the idea or the personality.
mhm.
Uh, so yeah.
And not every woman in a pair of Daisy Dukes is a HPD. It, just, it just is what it is. Let's see here. BPD. That's a tough one because it's like with cluster B, there's a poor to no self core identity. So all of this is constructed in cluster B on building some kind of golem identity. A BPD needs people to regulate their emotional state for them until they split. And once that occurs, uh, there's they kind of enter a state of psychosis to which you there's no reasoning with them while they're excited.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
that is what that is a thing that I was pretty much thinking
then
about.
the last group is the worried group. This is avoidant, dependent, and obsessive compulsive personality disorders, and they are pretty much as they sounded. Dependent needs people to do absolutely everything for them, and it's similar to avoidant, where the avoidant isn't interested in anything or anybody. So when
Yeah, correct.
when a lot of people say they're like antisocial, what they're talking about is they're avoidant. They don't need people. Antisocial just means they hate people.
Yep.
um, and then obsessive compulsive. So we start to see, then we can even look, if we put our triangle and point it to the left again, we can start mapping out different behaviors that uh, are congruent, or tendencies of the archetypal group, or the individualist, absolutist, or collectivist. The absolutist is going to be more obsessive compulsive, more paranoid, more narcissistic. The collective is going to be more avoidant, more dependent, or more schizo. The individualist is going to be more schizotypical, more antisocial, and even more borderline. So it, it's very funny to me, because this is how I start to see the world. And then you can see the overlap between the different personality disorders, where they
Hmm.
bleed into each other, because they believe, according to the DSM-5, that a lot of these are comorbid with each other.
There is there's one. Okay, okay.
Mhm.
Let me say this. So Spiro, who always comes into chat, good to see you, Spiro. I will read what it says. I obsessively and compulsively custard Emmett's mom last night. I also BPD'd, MPD'd, DPD'd, PPD'd, OCPD'd. I did all of the D's on her last night. Also, hi chat. Hi Emmett. Just dropping hi.
That's a good one.
Oh, shit.
Someone get that man a straight jacket and a cup with pills.
Damn, Jumper. A Jumper this says, didn't think that the shitting the bed thing was a real thing. Literally had one girl pee on my sheets when I wasn't home. Some kind of ownership thing. I never worked it out. I was so confused, but definitely was her. Good to
There's a
see
kid.
you. Good to see you, Voltaire.
There's a kid that lived in the apartment downstairs, and he had a girlfriend for a couple of weeks and thought it would be a good idea to move her in. He left her to go skateboarding. His kid's like 19, 20. He left her to go skateboarding at the skate park, and she took that the wrong way. She wasn't having it. She felt abandoned. She had a complete, what I'm guessing to be a BPD or HPD meltdown, and stole his stuff, specifically all his weed stuff, video game stuff, and Pokemon stuff. Left all
Mhm.
kinds of power tools and very expensive electronics, but took the stuff he loved and destroyed it. And then went to the skate park, and then graffitied, "This kid's name is a hard F." So she attacked the things he loves. This is Turvite behavior, by the way.
Mhm.
It, because I can't beat you physically, I'm going to destroy you emotionally, mentally, and I'm going to change the way people think about you.
So
Very,
we have a little bit of this. We talk about them.
yeah, we did all that. And then below this is a map, and we can kind of see the genders and how this plays out, and some of the overlap, where there's a lack of core personality in the middle, down at the bottom, that are where cluster, so is that C and cluster B collide into each other, that need for validation and conforming. That's important for totalitarianism, because that's kind of the totalitarian line in the triangle when we align it right on the map. We can see female icons in the blue and in the red area that occupy the, I guess that's the north, uh, west, to the southeast of the compass here. Antisocial nonconforming, that's right up top with the individualist. Grandiosity, superiority, that's on the Darwinistic line of the triangle. And then the Republican line of the triangle, we see kind of this weird avoidance isolationist thing. And that's kind of what our culture is about in so many ways because it's bad for business. We don't want to go against the
Mm-hmm.
technocrats.
True.
So it's fun playing with maps and models, and I
Well,
don't know. I went to school
one
for
of the
graphic design.
interesting one of the interesting things that I'm looking at this in this quadrant format is if you see the top area is pretty much the man, the lower area is pretty much the woman, and there is I will not necessarily say that there is that they are directly related. I believe that there can be women who fall
Yes,
into
there's people
violence,
outside.
or
Yeah.
yeah, there can be, but it's very interesting when you put them together with the last part that we were looking for, which is the social contract, right?
When
If
we
you
get
look
into
at
the
Yeah, if we look at the social contract, which is what we're talking about in like
yep,
30 minutes ago, and then you
yep,
look at this map, it fits the same kind of pattern in the model. It's just a different presentation.
yep. And that's the overall goal here. And what you were saying, your gender doesn't just lock you into a thing. One
Hmm.
of the archetypal actors I put out is Bonnie Annie, the famous pirate female.
Hmm.
Uh, so like there are definitely rules outside of the norm.
Yeah, but look at this. For example, this is like the collective,
Yeah.
and this is like the individual. And then if you
Yep.
move forward
And
into this area, it's like this is the warring class,
yeah, this is
right?
where the absolutes happen. Yes.
So it kind of we can see the mapping between the triad or the teloids and the personality types of the person as well. And this is why I'm even
Go
this is
go one page down, and we'll
oh
see our
perfect.
mimetic, and you'll
Yeah,
see how our mimetic lines up, and there's the triangle on the back.
yeah, exactly. You can see the differences between them. This is very interesting. I would say that if you actually if you were to bring in them separately, like separate the types, you would actually end up like something like the pyramid directly, which
Yep.
is which is also interesting that you can find like these thematic figures, which is which is it kind of gives credence to the theory in and of itself because you see the patterns being recalled from point to point.
And that's the nature that I get from my teacher, Mark Widowson, who he's like a holistic. He does theoretical history, so he's looking at maps of everything, and he builds everything from physical geography first, and then
Hmm.
through historical lens. And so he would say that it's no coincidence that one of the most interesting places on Earth is Israel because it's where all three major continents collide into each other, and it's where all three major human cultures, whether proto. So if there is any credence to Neanderthals and Denisovians and modern Homo sapiens sapiens, it looks a lot like Ham, Shem, and Japheth cultures, individualistic, absolutist, and collectivist.
Oh god, the depressive disorder. Oh no, I don't know where
No,
it's gonna go. But let me say
no,
hi
that's
to the original vintage. Let's see where this is gonna get us.
no.
Okay.
That these are most of these are on other notes. We can keep going until we get further. I was just making a point of different human stressors.
Mm,
All these different disorders help cultivate our personality, whether it's the disordered side of things or whether it's the more ocean modeled ordered side of things.
okay.
And when looking at people, if you get enough points of data on somebody after a while, you can see where they fit into these models. And then you can look at cultures the same way. You can look at city states, epochs of time, nationality, so on and so forth. You can start looking at all these things this way. and see just a different image of history and interesting maps. So, like I was saying at the beginning of this little part, I built a lot of this off of the Freudian model of your persona uh, is formed from your biological nature. You're a boy if you're a girl, and your genetic predispositions, and then your environment. I can I don't see anything wrong with the Freudian basic model. And he goes on and he has his own little triumvirate, which I think folds in nicely with our model. That is ego, superego, and id. The id is concerned with the material now. The baby's hungry now, and this is
Mm-hmm.
why the left is ruled by id. The baby's hungry now. Feed the baby now. I'm hungry now. Feed us now. The ego is more individualistic.
Mm-hmm.
So we think we are. It's our image of us. It's a thing that wants things that desire, right?
Yeah.
So individualism is and capitalism are built on desire. And then superego is the rule maker. It's the boss. That thing you shouldn't be doing this. That's the absolute. And each of the teloi target specifically the id, ego, or superego. And this is also reflected in like political tactics. There's a
Well,
reason why the
it
right
affects the.
can't riot. The right wing, the absolutists especially, can't riot because of ego and superego,
Mhm.
or uh, ethos and pathos. That or excuse me, ethos and logos.
It's just some logos,
Pathos,
and then the pathos can't do
pathos
it.
Yes, pathos is more geared towards it. People
Mm-hmm.
that behave and live through pathos are mostly driven by it. People that are more driven by superego are concerned with with ethic, ethos, or aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
And then people that are driven more by ego are more into logos. You would target them with logic.
We're gonna go with to
More note,
nature versus nurture.
yeah.
So there's a lot of different theories when it comes to nature versus nurture. I think that we are very similar. Like we have tendencies to both.
Mhm.
So the like the way that we are constructed has to do with with our family and the family tree and our parents, and at the same time we are shaped by the things around us at the same time.
And you're right because it's not absolute. We can look at statistics. Most professional athletes come from middle class, upper middle class Christian families, and they're not atheist.
Mhm.
Uh, but that's not the standard rule. You can have at the flip side of the coin, somebody whose dad owns a dealership. Everybody's got that knows that guy whose dad owns a dealership, grew up with every privilege, and the guy is like a worthless cokehead that tells everybody his dad owns a dealership, and
Mhm.
he ain't shit personally. So it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. uh his nature overrode his environment and his upbringing, so he chose to be a nihilist or a bohemian drug addict or whatever.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. Let's.
When you get down to the 30-minute warning though, I do want to start the video.
How about we finish? Okay,
A
let's
lot of this
finish.
type, so wait, yeah.
Yeah, let's finish real quick, young, and I think we'll do the video, and then we'll finish for this session. Even though this was a very productive one, I think. So
i, I think so too.
the four main archetypes we're talking about: young, okay, the persona, the shadow, anima, and the self.
Yep.
Do you want to expand on these ones real quick?
Let's see here. So the persona is how we present ourselves in a social context. The shadow represents the repressed aspect of our personality,
Mm-hmm.
or the shitty thing, the sinner, the heathen, the luster. Um, the anima and animus. I know Elder Lion is fucking twitching over this one. But this is like supposed to be the spirit, and how we represent our culture, how we fit into the world. Uh, but it's like the spiritual self, the ethereal thing. And there's
Mhm.
supposed to be a masculine or a feminine behind it with the or the us.
Okay.
Um, the self is represents our common understanding of consciousness and unconsciousness.
So the persona will be like our representation of ourselves, which means that it's like, for example, I'm streaming right now. When I'm streaming, I have a persona that I'm putting out to the people who are watching me in their through their device, right? Yeah, I'm
Right,
not
the
gonna
gothic vampire.
fuck you. True. Oh man. Okay. Um. One of the things that I find interesting about Jung is when he's talking about the archetypes, and when he's saying that pretty much we're fitting into certain kind of idealism. Do you think that it's like every person or everyone actually has the category of said archetypes, or you think that um we're a mixture of different things, we just prone
I think
to
we're a
some
mixture.
ideas?
I think we're a mixture. We're a prone, and it's not a static environment. It can fluctuate. So
Mhm.
you can be tired of the rogue life and then become a hero.
Okay. Yeah, I
You
agree with that.
or
And
you can
you
have
can see the
you
growth as well, because you can be like the the you can start as I don't know all the archetypes, but you can start in a way and then move to a different way later on
yeah,
in
and
life.
there's a positive version because Young with his shadow stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and then there's like the whole psychosis, Machiavellian, and narcissistic angle. Uh, at the same time, there's 12 archetypes, but there is a positive form and a negative inversion. So to the opposite of the rogue, the Robin Hood, steal from the rich and give to the poor, there is the pirate. Opposite of the king is the tyrant. Opposite of the lover is like the infatuated or something like that. Opposite of the the creator is the destroyer. So, you makes sense to me.
Hmm.
And I look at the archetypes as well as kind of, again, like colors, the color spectrum, or the wheel of fists with music theory, that uh, there's pattern and repetition, and
Yeah.
there's only so many, just like there's only so many octave frequencies to hear sound and so many visual frequencies to observe light through color. There's only so many frequencies of human behavior that exist in 3 dimensions smeared across 4 dimensional time.
When it comes to, well, the shadow is always like the thing I would categorize as the thing inside of us that we don't like. More not necessarily like the sin as in the Christian sense, more like the idea of us that we are avoiding. I don't know if you this is gonna sound so bad because it's Scott Pilgrim, and now after
Scott Pilgrim's a good movie, man. It's actually
not the movie, fuck the movie.
the comic book.
That comic
It's
book.
profound. It's observation of human behavior.
I
But that's
reread. So,
the movie was a warning about what was to come with all the purple
oh
hair,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, it's true. No, what I was gonna talk about is the comic. I read the comic when I was younger, and I had this idea in my head of what the comic was about, and then I reread it not long ago, and it was shorter, and it didn't have like some of the stuff that I thought it had. It's still a good one, but there is a lot of people like say it or see it now as as like the other you, and I think it's not necessarily the other you. It's just things that you are either ashamed of or afraid of or angry about you, and
Yes.
you have like your own idea of said personality that you have to confront in some cases so that you can actually grow or become a whole person. And I
So
think that is
you're battling your id, ego, and superego inside of this sort of like a three-cylinder or like a rotary engine.
uh
Again, threes and
it,
fours, baby. Inside of these four different traits of the Jungian model.
it is
So they
interesting that in the Orthodox Church, the way that you deal with the shadow, if you're looking at this through this sense, because in the in the Jungian way, you are supposed to do it on your own, right? You are supposed to
mm-hmm,
come to the
mm-hmm.
conclusion of uh, facing your shadow. In the church, it's different. The way that you do it is through a priest. So you actually go to once you are when you are getting to heal your spiritual body per se. One of the things you do is it's not communion. Uh, when you
Confessing, the sacrament of
confess,
confession.
yes, the confession exactly, and the confession is in a way the way that you are dealing with your shadow, which I think is
Well,
very very
my
interesting.
priest has made it very clear that we're all awful sinners, and that's why we're here because we're sick. And the
Hmm.
church has the medicine, and I like to look at it like if we're looking at the shadow self, your father, your spiritual father, is there holding your hand through this extraordinarily painful process of
Yeah,
looking at your shitty self
exactly. So
and
it's not
reminding
a
you this is the way reminding you this is the way he's done it, and the rest of the parish, the flock, has all been through this, and that you're not alone in it.
exactly. That's what I was going to talk about. The difference between like this individualist ethos, where you are supposed to do it on your own, and in the church, which is like there is us. There, there. Here is the hospital. We're here to guide you through
Yeah,
it. You're
it's
not
a
alone.
totally a life raft compared to the Protestant world where you're just kind of like yeeted out at sea with like some the Bible as some like arm floaty thingies.
The anima and the animus, which is I can understand. I would like to. I can understand why Elijah may have a problem with it, but when you're talking about the anima or the anima or the animus, one of the things that I'm like thinking about specifically is um sorry
You're good.
it would be like the way that if you're talking about the spirit or your spiritual life, I think it's I would put it as the ethos, right? The ethos of the person. What is the thing that gives you a purpose or an idea for life? And it can be very corrupting. Like if you're a nihilist, I would see that as the most corrupting animus. If you see it as an encompassing, as God in an encompassing way, I would see that as the opposite, right? As a fulfillment of an ethos.
Right. And
What?
I look at the kind of the anima too as it's not just the ethos, it's also the logos, and it's also the pathos. It's like all three of them that we favor individually, one or two over the other, or we have a higher order of how we prioritize those three, but they're all latently there. There is that pathological, or excuse me, not pathological. There's the pathos argument that can be made to me that stirs my emotional core that I will have a bias towards. There is
Mhm.
a ethos argument to me that will do the same, just as a logical argument can do. Now, I
Correct.
prioritize personally myself. I prioritize, you know, logos, ethos, and then pathos in that order. But
Okay. Okay.
that's just me, and I'm learning more through orthodoxy to embrace more ethos. You know, the
Okay.
church is always talking about embracing an ethos, always talking about embracing an ethic, an aesthetic.
Now the self. What do you think about the self? Because I'm not entirely sure if we go through the
I,
persona.
I kind of view the self more towards that similar. I think he's hammering out more of a Freudian ego here.
Okay.
The
Okay. Okay.
concept of me, I am who I think I am of me. I am my collective experiences, and I'm also the me that I try to project, but I'm constantly tweaking or uh, changing. That way, I'm presenting a constant image of me.
So we have the archetypes here: the hero, the sage, the innocent, the lover, the caregiver, the citizen, sovereign, the magician, the creator, the explorer, the jester, and the rebel.
And we can even line these up.
And then we have the
Because
shadows, right? Which is like
mhm,
the jester is the hater, the lover is the seducer, the everyman is the follower, the caregiver is the slave, the creator is the destroyer, the ruler is the tyrant, the hero is the villain, the innocent is the victim, the explorer is the raider, sage is the
and
elitist, the outlaw is the criminal, the magician is the trickster.
just like all our other models, there is a tendency for each one of these to favor a more collectivist, individualist, or absolutist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
And like another important thing to note, like there's a modern thing, so there's no magicians or apothecaries or shit like that anymore. So
Well,
you know,
they're the doctor, right?
exactly the Rick and Morty, the mad scientist.
The mad scientist, the doctor,
Hmm,
the
hmm,
because
hmm.
that was the point of the like when when I'm talking about the magician, it's not necessarily thinking. And this is something that happened not long ago. When I was thinking about for example, the witches. Like I had a conversation not long ago about what is a witch, and it's like, well, if you look at now, it's like this creature that uses magic, but the reality of it when it comes from is the woman that sacrifices the children for herself. That was the actual archetype of the witch.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
And the magician is very similar. The magician is not necessarily the guy that uses magic, it's the guy that has the knowledge to do
Which is
something out of the ordinary. So it would be
which is
like,
different than like the medicine woman who think the chieftainess lady in the first Avatar movie. She's the medicine woman of the tribe. She's that spiritual leader that is in tune with the technology of her planet. It's sappy, it's cheesy, but I'm trying to think of like a positive form of it.
yes,
And that's
exactly.
also and all that. I mean, here, let's go another layer in.
Well, the cool.
The movie Avengers is
Mhm.
an archetype of romanticism. It's just another retelling of the noble savage,
Yeah. So, sorry.
which is prominent because I actually like the Colonel character in that as an absolutist archetype, and in the culture war because all the memes around the Colonel, you know, calling out the treachery of Sully, who has betrayed mankind for some blue monkey tail and legs. Uh, the memes were hilarious. Now they've turned him into he's gone in the third movie. He's gone native. He- he's through falling in love with the evil sorceress or the evil medicine woman.
Mhm.
Uh, he's gone rogue, and now he's starting to learn the value of the Nave, you know, whimsical monkey people lifestyle.
Somebody
It's
says, somebody says, sounds like the magician today will be the politician, government. They have powerful fiction. No,
the magician would be like Mark Zuckerberg or
yeah, the magician. No, wait. The magician is the one that has the knowledge to make things out of the ordinary. So they're
yeah,
inventors. They are the supposed scientists. They're like
the
doctors.
artists, artisans.
Well, I wouldn't say artists. I would say jesters
Someone,
are artists. I would say
yeah,
creators
yeah,
are artists.
yeah. That's its own archetype.
So the magician is more of a person that has this kind of hidden knowledge. So they're like
Those
scientists. They're like
archetypes
yeah, they're
fall
the
into the individualist, though.
mhm.
While the magician isn't the artist, they're both heavily in the individualist camp.
Yeah, the rulers are the ones, or the sovereigns are the ones that are usually more aligned to the politicians. The hero can be more aligned to a politician. They are that's more of the position of them,
The
and nobody.
conscientious trait.
Nobody's calling you a witch, by the way. Ego orientation wants to leave a mark on the world, or the orientation wants to provide a structure in the world. Social orientation wants to connect to others. Freedom orientation yearns for paradise. This is actually very
So,
cool.
so
Because,
the social
yeah.
orientation again, we can get into the biological and back to the primordial three camps. Women, for example, dominate the nursing and education industry
Hmm.
out of a want to connect to others. Priests want to connect to others. A lot of Christianity has its primordial roots in the collective camp.
Yeah, correct. And we can go to the. You know what? We're gonna leave here. We're gonna go to the orientations next time. How about we play the video now? It would be a good
Okay,
idea.
I put the link in your in the back chat.
Okay, I got it.
There's two videos. We watch part one now. If you want to watch part two after or next time, it, it'll be fun either way. I promise.
Wait, what am I actually sharing?
It's the most profound moment setup. It's the most profound moment in video game history, and I agree with this. I am a huge Metal Gear Solid fan,
Hmm.
and Metal Gear Solid 2 was literally 20 years ahead of its time. And when it arrives, this is like uh Konami or Hidekio Konami is super into the cyberpunk and cybernetics and all that kind of movement. So there's a lot of overlap with like Nick Landian thought. So everything we kind of talk about, after this video is over, we'll have a fun discussion, and then you wrap it
Okay,
up.
so
That you gotta do.
let's move a little ahead and let's play these.
Videos on various topics, but by far the most popular form of video I have done centers on video game analysis. What I think made them so popular is that instead of being your usual video game review, I have focused primarily on narrative. Specifically, I have focused on what I believe are the best stories in the video game canon. For 20 odd years, video game narratives have been demonstrating a capacity to confuse, entice, and emotionally manipulate their audience in the most positive of ways. Most recently, in fact, I have been putting forth the argument that video game narratives have demonstrated such sufficient profundity that they sometimes have matched the greatest stories told in other mediums. To continue our collective celebration of our modern-day digital mythology, I would finally like to give full attention to a game which, I would argue, has the most profound moment in gaming history. I refer to the final codec conversation from Metal Gear Solid 2. While I have done several videos on Metal Gear Solid 2 in the past, I have never given full analytic attention to this specific moment. The main reason why is because somebody has already done so. My all-time favorite YouTube video is titled The Most Profound Moment in Gaming, MGS2 AI Conversation Analysis. Though it was released almost 9 years ago by its creator, Logo Steve, I pondered for a while how I might do a better job than he did. However, given our current cultural context, I believe I have a few other worthwhile things to contribute. The advent of subjects like fake news, the resurgence of rampant political correctness, and our tendency towards online tribalism has imbued this conversation with a much denser sense of meaning. To those who consider themselves gamers but have never played a Metal Gear Solid game, you are obligated to at least listen to this final conversation. Not only will you be enlightened by its philosophical commentary, but you will be terrified by its implications, as I have been for my entire life.
Raiden, are you receiving? We're still here.
How's that possible? The AI was destroyed.
Only GW.
Who are you?
To begin with, we're not what you'd call human.
You look lost.
Over the past 200 years, a kind of consciousness formed layer by layer in the crucible of the White House. It's not unlike the way life started in the oceans 4 billion years ago. The White House was our primordial soup, a base of evolution. We are formless. We are the very discipline and morality that Americans invoke so often. How can anyone hope to eliminate us? As long as this nation exists, so will we.
Up until the end of the game, the main character Raiden believed he was receiving orders from a man named Colonel Roy Campbell, a man who was also Solid Snake's commander throughout Metal Gear Solid 1. At the end of Metal Gear Solid 2, Raiden learned that his colonel was in fact an artificial
hold on one second.
intelligence, manipulating Raiden to
Mm-hmm.
Pretend the Colonel there, the JD AI,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Naomi AI when she talks. Pretend that's like Summits and Katerva talking to you, and it'll be fun.
Okay, so the collectivists and the
Absolutist.
and the absolutists. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Perform its political bidding. The bidding in question refers to the AI's desire to control the human race by controlling the spread of information via the press and the internet, but we'll focus on that more in a moment. During the first part of this conversation, the audience learns how this AI came to be, and surprisingly, it is similar to the way human beings as a species came to be. Unlike the origin of human life in the oceans, the AI's quote-unquote life had its basis in American idealism, hence the AI's referencing of the White House as a symbol. In the mind of the AI, their purpose is to push forward American values, things like freedom, equality, and healthy competition. However, Ryden points out what should be an obvious contradiction in the AI's thought process, that the AI wants to take away those freedoms via censorship.
Cut the crap! If you're immortal, why would you take away individual freedoms and censor the net?
Jack, don't be silly.
Don't you know that our plans have your interests, not ours, in mind?
What?
What?
Jack, listen carefully, like a good boy.
Not only are the AI about to argue for the ethics of controlling information, but they are going to do so in a very condescending manner. As we move on, I suggest that you, the listener, pay attention to how the AI demeans Ryden. Their pomposity is intrinsic to the effectiveness of their future argument.
The mapping of the human genome was completed early this century. As a result, the evolutionary log of the human race lay open to us.
We started with genetic engineering, and in the end, we succeeded in digitizing life itself.
But there are things not covered by genetic information.
What do you mean?
Human memories, ideas, culture, history.
Genes
Memes.
don't contain any record of human
They're
history.
comparing
Is it
memes to
something that should
genes.
not be passed on? Should that information be left at the mercy of nature?
Which is exactly what we are doing when we're talking about the memetic, right? It's
Yes.
mhm. Yeah, it
Absolutely.
makes absolutely sense. There's a little bit of a side conversations going in chat. I'm just gonna say this too, and this is an interpretation of the idea of spells. For me, spells are not things uttered in a manner. The spell that people are talking about is actually the ideology you belong to. When people go on and make when people talk to you about, for example, philosophy, that is the you are affected by the words that you're being received. If you become like a libertarian, for example, libertarian is the spell that you are under when it comes to how magic quotations, because it's not magic, is
Right.
done into your mind.
And it was
But
a lot of ego-based and logos-based
mhm,
argument that was used to compel that liberal mind.
yeah, so that for me that is magic. Loss is just a
Mhm.
threat. You're just
Well, we
threatening
speak in
people.
spells. It's not called spelling for a reason. Spells are our operating systems.
Yeah,
And
but
the AIs even like bring this up. Like it's wild.
yeah, that's what I would call a spell. And the reason why I would call some of them demonic is not because it's not because there's some kind of power imbued into them when it comes to the material world. It's more of the power that they have uh, to go and entice the heart of men into false belief. That would be my idea of what a demonic spell is.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I would just add the caveat of the purpose being to poison the person towards some form of nihilism. And all three Telloi
Mhm.
have their form of nihilism at the end of the day,
Yes.
as explained to us by Saint Seraphim Rose. We're saying that at my parish, as explained by
No, he's
Saint
already a
Seraphim
saint.
Rose. Yeah,
He's already a saint. He was
well,
canonized.
it's also regional too. So he's Saint Seraphim Rose. But too much of the absolute, too much of the individual, too much of the collective will absolutely brain rot somebody into nihilism.
Oh yeah, I watch this after Spiro.
We've always kept records of our lives through words, pictures, symbols, from tablets to books.
But not all the information was inherited by later generations. A small percentage of the whole was selected and processed, then passed on. Not unlike genes, really.
That's what history is, Jack.
What the AI is trying to do here is illustrate how genes function similar to how memes function. If genes are, quote, a unit of heredity which is transferred from a parent to offspring and is held to determine some characteristic of the offspring, then a meme is something like an ethic, a fact, or an opinion that later generations inherit. Like genes, memes are also subject to a process called natural selection. If certain organisms are better adapted to their environment than others, then their genes are passed on to the next generation while others have the potential to die off. Similarly, if certain memes seemingly hold enough meaning or logic, then supposedly they survive better than memes that do not. What distinguishes memes from genes is the nature of the selection process. Genes are more or less subject to the amoral discretion of nature, but memes can be analyzed and weeded out via moral discretion. However, the AI will now illustrate how the natural selection of memes bears a unique problem in the internet age compared to the past few centuries.
But in the current digitized world, trivial information is accumulating every second, preserved in all its triteness, never fading, always accessible.
Rumors about petty issues, misinterpretations, slander.
All this junk data, preserved in an unfiltered state, growing at an alarming rate.
It will only slow down social progress, reduce the rate of evolution.
Prior to the internet age,
You know what this reminds me of? Oddly enough, what we started talking about when we started the conversation, when we talk about the problem of complexity, right? Yeah. So if you have an ultra amount of if you have a huge amount of information running around that is so incredibly complex to sustain, they're talking about that specifically. It's like, well, the rate of information and the amount of growth that you can have with all of this information going around is going to decrease. I disagree because I disagree in a very individualistic sense. Oddly enough, I think that the problem we're facing and the problem that we see with these kind of situations is that the collectivist ideas of the society usually encroaches upon what is supposed to be the domain of the individuals, and that causes the problem of complexity. If we
Well,
actually if we
they
actually
all
stopped
encroach.
part of it. No, I
They
mm,
they all. It's a game of rock scissors paper. They all take turns encroaching on each other.
oh yeah,
Like
yeah. But what I'm saying is,
we can see where even the individualist right has trampled the individualist at some point.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. What I'm saying is,
And like another argument is like, should just to play devil's advocate with the AIs because I'm with you actually. Um, but should Candace Owens be allowed to articulate that she was a part of a super secret government program to select time traveling super soldiers, and espouse this out in the world as the arguably what in the top five online YouTube and social media creators? The amount of disinformation she puts out is insane.
well, I think that the authority should be that's an appeal to the authority, right?
I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
this
I'm
is
appealing as the devil's advocate. I'm appealing to the authority to censor that. But
yeah, yeah.
who makes the choice? I remember not too long ago when everything on the right wing was fact checked and nothing on the left was fact checked.
Yep.
That's the problem.
I don't think it's I don't think this is directly from the game. I don't think it's directly from the game, right? It's just a talk about what happens in the game.
Well, he's talking about what he's doing his analysis of the dialogue in between Raiden and the AI.
Yeah.
information was curated. We read about the news in newspapers, watched the news on TV, and it was all funneled to us after passing through a, hopefully, professional body. Granted, there was a greater potential for curators such as journalists, editors, and academics to manipulate information to fit their various political biases, but at least There was some form of selection process going on. In the age of the internet, however, information is released so fast that it is impossible to control the discussion. Instead of listening exclusively to reporters, we are left to our own devices to derive what is valuable. Except, unlike the curators in the pre-digital age, the general population does not know how to separate the wheat from the chaff. We will focus on small, trivial issues like a celebrity's love life, rather than macro issues, such as the cumulative monetary debt of the Western world. We will only listen to news sources that confirm our pre-existing political leanings and ignore any challenging voices. If it sounds like I'm engaging in apologetics for censorship, I am not. I would never censor information under any circumstances. But what does one do in respect to the destructive influence of human bias? The AI goes on to propose a solution.
Right? You seem to think that our plan is one of censorship.
Are you telling me it's not?
You're being silly. What we propose to do is not to control content, but to create context.
Create context.
The AI argues that because they are not prone to human error and have inner CPUs with greater processing power than the human brain, they would know how to curate information and present it to the human race in a way that doesn't slow human evolution. Unlike your average political body, which might censor information that is inconvenient to their cause, the AI would simply present information in the most factual way possible so that political bias would not intervene.
This is false. We already see this happen. This has happened several times. I don't mean to be mean to you, Yo Cool, but there's been a lot of different. There's been a lot of different AIs who have stated that certain individuals in society should probably not be part of the society, and then the AI has been lobotomized about it. So you're saying
for sure. No, and he's totally devil's advocating this right now. To his defense, he's already admitted that this isn't his take.
I understand. I'm just giving the counter argument to that specific argument.
Right. And now what I would say is, in a weird way, that's what the three Tello do. They kind of operate this way, and they've kind of manifested in a similar way in the primordial civilizations with the.
Well, the individualists have always have this this idea of if you allow everybody to do as they wish at all times, utopia will be present, and it's
Correct.
something that is or we're going to be able to create something, for example the Tower of Babel, which is the thing that will create the utopia. So I
And that's
understand the mimetic.
demonstrably untrue. Yeah.
Yeah, like AI is like the new idea of the Tower of Babel. No? We're gonna have this thing that is gonna connect us all, and we're gonna go to the heavens thanks to it.
That's where I think Nick Land is interesting, is because he proposes, then who are we making the world for? The machines?
yeah, exactly.
Thus cooling political tensions across the political spectrum. Of course, if something like the AI's censorship program came into place, ethical questions would arise regarding whether or not this compromises human freedom, specifically our quote-unquote free will. Ideally, human beings should have the autonomy to make their own decisions, no matter what mistakes may follow. In response, the AI argues why the problems that arise from that freedom supposedly necessitate censorship.
The digital society furthers human flaws and selectively rewards development of convenient half-truths. Just look at the strange juxtapositions of morality around you.
Billions spent on new weapons in order to humanely murder other humans.
Rights of criminals are given more respect than the privacy of their victims.
Although there are people suffering in poverty, huge donations are made to protect endangered species. Everyone grows up being told the same thing.
Be nice to other people.
But beat out the competition.
You're special. Believe in yourself and you will succeed.
But it's obvious from the start that only a few can succeed.
You exercise your right to freedom, and this is the result. All rhetoric to avoid conflict and protect each other from hurt.
Here, The AI illustrates the various ways in which human error corrupts truth. That human error arises from an instinctual drive to protect ourselves
Complexity
emotionally and
problem.
physically, which truth tends to threaten. For instance, let's say a religious fundamentalist is confronted with various scientific truths that challenge their worldview. Let's say the fundamentalist loses faith when confronted by those truths. What happens psychologically is that because the fundamentalist no longer has a belief system to make sense of the world, they are thrown into a mental pit of confusion and resentment. That loss of structure and certainty is so painful to the ideologue that it seems it would be better to avoid that feeling at all costs.
This is what Andrew Wilson has been talking about lately when he's talking about the cognitive dissonance. So this is cognitive dissonance. Oddly enough, it also happens to scientists. Okay,
Yes.
because they and this is a problem I have with a lot of people when they're talking about faith-based system. Every system that we have is based on faith. The only system that wouldn't be based on faith, sorry, is it would be the system of God, because you will need to have all knowledge and make sense of everything to have a
Exactly.
non-faith-based system.
The scientific rationalist shudders of two principles: one, the law of biogenesis, and two, the observer paradox. There has to be an observer for the universe to even be created.
Correct.
This instinct is endemic to almost all human beings. This is why we separate ourselves into political tribes and won't consider the ethical implications of our positions. For instance, is it right to be pro-choice or pro-life? Instead of considering the validity of either side's argument, the pro-life crowd will chastise the pro-choice crowd as being on par with murderers,
Because they are.
and the pro-choice crowd will chastise the pro-life crowd as being misogynist religious zealots that want to control women. These
Because they're wrong. I apologize, but I have to say it.
low-resolution assumptions
Right?
exacerbate
It's a
tensions
sober
between
observation, though.
It's like, oh, you have to be. No, fuck it. Because they are akin to the liters of babies, and because the other people are wrong, believing that the
but
only
I can
reason why
admit-
you want to stop them is because you're supposed to be misogynistic. Fuck them.
I can admit there are whole segments of the population that should have never been born.
Oh my god, Deacon. No, stop it. Okay, shut
I'm not
up.
saying that we should. I mean, we could probably build a camper. Or dig a pit.
Oh my god. Stop not liking the Blue Jays, okay?
political parties and can potentially lead to violent conflict. Most people will avoid these difficult conversations to preserve order, but if you ignore them long enough, political positions become cemented, and people will kill each other before they admit that they're wrong about something. The AI then present a future where human bias corrupts the flow of information.
The untested truths, spun by different interests, continue to churn and accumulate in the sandbox of political correctness and value systems.
Everyone withdraws into their own small gated community, afraid of a larger forum. They stay inside their little ponds, leaking whatever truth
I
suits
think it's
them
crazy.
into the
This
growing
video game from
cesspool
the
of
90s
society at
predicted the
large.
balkanization of the internet before it happened 20 years ago. It's
Well,
crazy.
the interesting part that I've been thinking about it is the internet was probably. I've been thinking about this for a while now, but in 2010, for example, when all this started, before that, the internet was a lot more free,
You know, it was
and
the Wild West. It was in its Merovingian phase before it got settled.
yeah, but I don't remember it being a mean place. It was like very
It was always a
open.
meme plex. It was always a meme plex, but it
No,
wasn't
mean.
balkanized.
I'm talking about
Oh,
mean.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember it being like a mean. Like you could go into different places, and yeah, people would say, bad words and stuff like that, or they would call you something. In my case, Beaner. Okay, they would call me Beaner. Fine, but it was never like they would call you that, and I
But it's
remember like
balkanized. But it's balkanized now. There are no-go
Yeah.
zones for certain people.
yeah.
People-
Right now is
They kicked Donald Trump off the internet, and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
had to create truth.
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Elon Musk buying Twitter so that free speech could maintain. This is all ahead of its time, and it predicted it, just like Nick Land and Meltdown made predictions 20 years in its time. It's incredible.
Yeah, true.
Cardinal truths neither clash nor mesh. No one is invalidated. But nobody is right.
Not even natural selection can take place here. The world is being engulfed in truth.
And this is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but a whimper.
As we saw in the 20th century, whether it is with Hitler's fascism or Stalin and Mao's communism, the ideologically possessed would rather kill millions in the name of their ideology rather than consider the arguments of their political opponents. We see this type of attitude in its nascent stages in the digital age, whether it's calling everybody who disagrees with you a racist, sexist, homophobic Nazi, or a West-hating communist. This attitude is pervasive throughout social media, forums, and comment sections.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Some of them are fucking West-hating communists. Okay.
No, they are totally. We're past the we're in the mask off section now.
Well, it's kind of weird that he's.
There's an open communist. It's the mayor of the most powerful fucking city, arguably in the world.
I just find it's kind of funny because I was this kind of person when I was kind of growing up, right? I was like, well, I don't have a bias towards anything because I'm gonna be as unbiased as possible. I only believe in what I can actually justify when it comes to truth, when it comes to science,
Yep.
and
I was once a libertarian that was like, one day, gay farmers will be able to guard their weed crops with AR-15s, and everything will work out. And boy, was I
yeah.
fucking delusional, buddy.
One day I will have every woman in the world that I want with my AK-14 and my little pasture of things. Yeah, it's yeah. Fuck.
It-
But what I was gonna say is the funny part about all of this is that there is an underlying, like, you have to understand that there's no way that you cannot go through life in which there is gonna be a moment where, especially if you are not a believer in an ethical framework that is not based upon yourself.
or
If you
materialism, I would take it, and
Well,
materialism.
materialism is it goes into yourself. Materialism
Fair
ends
enough.
in yourself when it comes to
Super,
ethics. It's
super
my
egotistical.
preference. Uh-huh.
Yeah, super ego, or not the super ego, but super space egotistical.
Yeah, exactly. But what I was gonna say is there's gonna be a point, or there's gonna be a moment at the end that is gonna end up there. It's gonna end up in um like if you keep on, if you try this oh god, I'm trying to figure out the words correctly. Like, a lot of people don't think or believe that you can have like these kumbaya, let's get together and have a good time. But they don't realize that if you are this super egotistical kind of way, it will end up in my preference are correct and are the ones that have to rule over everybody. And it
Right.
goes into a collectivist mindset, and you are justified in doing what is good, which is what you prefer. So
Well, and
it
at the
always
same
ends up in
time,
this.
at the same time, like the AI, then where you kind of neuter yourself to where you can't even defend yourself against the things you don't like because you're too focused on trying not to hurt other people's feelings.
Well, that would be for the followers. The
In order
followers
to
are
preserve
following that
order.
kind of thing, but the ones
But
that
that's
are
been,
at the
but I would
top,
say
they're
that's the
justified in
collapse.
themselves.
But
No,
that's been the collapse of the right over the decades. Is it doesn't want to draw a line in the sand because
mm,
politically it doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
yeah. That is the
And, be,
cult of niceness. Yeah, the cult
and
of
by
nice.
yeah, and through that Protestant cult of niceness, you know, this is how, for my personal experience, the straw that broke the camel's back for me was seeing, Satanists, active, open Satanists in my Protestant, Christian social
Church.
club
Okay.
and church, and yeah, so I was a Freemason and a Templar Knight, and when all this shit ended up in the camp, it was like, whoa, buddy.
Yep.
This type of inflammatory language has further polarized our political climate and has resulted in violent clashes. In the mind of the AI, this is due to the fact that we insulate ourselves by staying inside our little ponds and casting all outsiders and dissidents as bad people. If this
Gotta hate the
continues to
centrists.
happen, who knows
Yeah, I
what
hate the
violent,
centrists.
oppressive future might manifest. Unlike the reality of MGS2, where a supposedly benevolent AI can make the hard decisions for us, our reality might become a sort of Orwellian nightmare, which the AI wants to prevent.
We're trying to stop that from happening.
It's our responsibility as rulers. Just as in genetics, unnecessary information and memory must be filtered out to stimulate the evolution of the species.
And you think you're qualified to decide what's necessary and not?
Absolutely. Who else could wade through the sea of garbage you people produce, retrieve valuable truths, and even interpret their meaning for later generations?
Summus.
That's what it means to create context.
I want to remind you all that Metal Gear Solid 2 came out in 2001. This game was warning us about the advent of fake news, misinformation, and half-truths roughly 2 decades before the issue captured our collective attention. Worse yet, not only do the AIs describe a potentially dystopian future for both our reality and the reality of the game, but they also make us inadvertently realize that we currently have no constructive solution to the problem.
I disagree with this. There's a reason why the ideas of misinformation and control and government and control and all that have been a meme for a lot longer. They were just not like a meme in the collective at the time, because especially in the US, because they had a high trust society at that point.
Well, they didn't
90s,
factor in.
yeah, the 90s were a very high trust society, but if you look at the history of the world, 90s 2000s were high trust society. We started seeing this more in the public eye after after Donald Trump.
2016.
Mhm.
Yep.
but
And
in but in reality, that was part of the narratives of the people from way before that. You can see this being a thing in Mexico in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, especially when there was a lot of control by the government and a low trust society.
so we see Elon Musk, who is in the schizo region, uh, do something incredible that the AI didn't really, the Caterva didn't really foresee, is that he used his individual power and resource, and he purchased Twitter to kind of draw a line in the sand for freedom of information, freedom of speech. But I would warn that there's only so many Elon Musks, and while he bought the system, I think it's more or less a prolonging of the inevitable. That is, this thing's going to snap one of two ways. It's either collective or absolutist. It's the future is going to, out of necessity, be more totalitarian. I just don't know whether it'll be more collective based or absolutist based. I pray for an empire. I want it to be absolutist based. I am going to pump out absolutist imperial memes in hopes that that's what graphs for the future, that's what gets selective by the Darwinistic process.
Yep, that makes sense.
And not like evolutionary Darwinism. I'm talking social Darwinism via this model. There's only a couple more minutes left, but I think we got through the bulk of it. Part 2, when he does his conclusion, and I think we can do that next video. It'll make more sense too, because we're going to get into really meeting and knowing these three telloi, their persona, their anthropomorphization, the character of them.
Yep.
The only tactic available at the moment is for individuals to strengthen their moral compass and
Oh, no.
call out misinformation where possible. However, given humanity's inherent imperfection, even the best of us are prone to mistakes. Worse yet, instead of bolstering the best among us
They are.
despite
You
their
know how many
mistakes,
people
we
are,
will feverishly
supporting the, certain groups.
Yeah, I know.
Objectives
I
through
know.
through the cult of hating muzzies. I mean, Was it?
Well, I don't like him.
I think
But
I don't.
I
I
don't.
think I think that Jay and Andrew are right that if you join the cult of Muzzy hate, you're kind of just saddling yourself to all kinds of demonic influence and
Mhm.
political will of this
Yeah.
faction. To
Well,
me,
one of the
if you don't prescribe the exact same things to the Muzzies as you do the redacted people,
Mhm.
uh, I don't take you seriously. I don't think you're a serious person. I think
Yeah,
you're just in a Muzzy hating cult.
yeah, that makes sense.
Exacerbate the mistakes of our opponents for political gain. We see this quite vividly in what has been aptly termed call-out culture. For instance, it is thanks to this culture that there is no host for the Oscars this year. It is thanks to this culture that people will be fired from their job over a tweet they made 10 years ago. A person might even be fired for a tweet that was taken out of context, when said person did nothing wrong whatsoever. Worst of all, it is thanks to this culture that we will elect politicians not based on their ethics or policies, but on how effectively they can punch the other side. And let me re-emphasize, we have no solution to this problem. In the reality of Metal Gear Solid 2, however, a hypothetical solution is presented. Because people abuse the responsibility that comes along with freedom of speech and expression, and would rather attack people than their ideas, a system that controls information must be set up, supposedly for our own good. The AI go into more detail regarding this solution as the conversation goes on. However, that analysis will have to be saved for the second part of this video. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you liked this
And that's
video
that.
and understand
I
Okay.
thought the guy did a pretty good breakdown. I don't like you. I don't agree with 100% of the shit he's throwing down, but I do think it creates it asks a lot of questions that create a forum for good discussion and analysts.
Okay, Spiro Fluoropoulos. He told us that Christian. Oh, there it is. I would like to watch this video. I think it's gonna be a banger.
I must immediately start with a disclaimer. I am not part of any religious institution or denomination. I was a
Sad.
Jehovah's Witness for 30 some odd years. I do know a bit about different religious beliefs. As part of being a Jehovah's Witness, you are encouraged to read and understand other beliefs in case you occur them as you knock on doors to preach the good news. I have read the Bible front to back, every page, approximately 5 or 6 times, including the King
What good is
James
that if you don't know
Version.
how to
My
interpret
statements
it?
in this video are not meant to be an attack on any religious belief. They are not meant to hold to an interpretation that I am actively encouraging or discouraging anybody to hold. I realize that several religious systems will not agree with the notions behind some of the biblical passages I present in this video. That's fine. I have no issues with that. Point is not to highlight the beliefs themselves or to encourage you to actively hold them or let go of them. I will be going over a variety of different beliefs, mostly based on biblical passages, as I am most knowledgeable in those. However, make no mistake, I will be presenting some arguments for a few very different belief systems. Last disclaimer, when I say AI, I mean LLMs in modernity. If I successfully argued that no Christian should use AI, then you would not be allowed to play video games with AI NPCs in them. You would not be allowed to benefit from protein folding AI. You would not be allowed to support AI chess engines. Obviously, that's ridiculous, and I'm not promoting that. So, I'm talking about LLMs in modernity, chatbots, or as we will soon see, the fruit from the forbidden tree. This video was prompted by an article where a software engineer made a religious claim that they cannot or are otherwise forbidden from using AI as it goes against their religion and must code by hand. They won this claim at work and are happily creating code by hand. In my personal opinion, good. More of this, please. What's funny here is that the woman is part of Unitarian Universalism, and that religion can include atheists. Go figure. Let's start with a softball. I'm going to use BibleGateway.com to read passages moving forward and post screenshots as I do. Genesis 1:28-30. God blessed them and said to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number. Fill the earth and subdue it. rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground. Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with
Hey,
seed in
Emmett.
it. They will be yours.
Uh-huh.
What was our first prime directive as creations or programs of God?
Was this? It was this one, right? Be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth, subdue it, rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground.
So that's the first. But also, what about the naming of stuff? Like we went around as kind of like this primordial LLM ourselves.
Um,
What do you
I'm
think
not
about
entirely
that?
sure of what is the specific idea of it. I I will literally not. I don't have
No, that's
an
not even necessarily
interpretation.
an answer. This is more or less like a thought I've kind of had even myself. Like in this weird way, we are kind of the
Well, I would see that
LLM.
as the creation of language, right? It's like
Exactly.
this is the thing. It's like, well, I don't even see the creation of language. It's like, well, yes, it is the creation of language. You have
And then
this
language
thing,
through the
and then
logos,
you are.
where it's too universal, then God kicks over the tower and confounds tongues, and then there's multiple LLMs running around. It's wild. Wild thought. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
slowing down the train.
yeah. You're talking about the language. I think, yeah, it's fine. It's interesting.
For food, and to all the beasts of the earth, and all the birds in the sky, and all the creatures that move along the ground, everything that has breath of life in it, I give every green plant for food, and it was so. In at least some religious belief structures, this scripture indicates that God wanted mankind to A, live forever on earth, and B, take care of all the earth, turning it into a global paradise. While God does have room to be flexible, as evidenced by Jonah and the whale, as well as other passages, he is considered to be generally consistent. Thus, many believe God still expects this from mankind today. That is, to be good stewards of the earth. If you simply Google destruction caused by data centers, you will find many pages to make good and admittedly not so good claims about the environmental impacts caused by the chatbot that spits out 10,000 lines of putrid Python code for you. This is just one example. I have gone over several others on my Enlightened Programming and Tech Bytes series. My website, linked below, have all the articles I've ever sourced over the last 2 to 3 years, or covered on streams and videos, with an abundance of information on how destructive data centers are. Suffice it to say, much like Bitcoin did in its heyday, and still does, by the way, these things cause environmental damage. This includes damage to human life. In some cases, it poses health risks to humans. Now, as stewards of the earth, God may find it acceptable, for example, that we cut down a few too many trees so we can build homes for shelters, so humans can thrive, be safe, and eventually turn the earth into a paradise anyways. Intent may have a lot to do with this. What are we using LLMs for right now, however? To what ends are we causing such damage at such a rapid speed, the likes of which we actually do not truly know the bounds of? Well, if Dario is to be believed, we could use it to eliminate most cancers, as he writes in this article. How are we looking on that front? Not so hot. Instead, LLMs are used for war, activities of the coitus nature, to replace your wife with a robot wife, to replace your husband with a robot husband, to replace your pet with a robot pet, to replace your kid with a robot kid, and the final frontier, to replace yourself. This leads to the next point. 1 Corinthians 6 and 19. Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. Numerous studies, including some referenced by the article I showed on screen earlier, show that using AI can necessarily lead to cognitive atrophy or a diminishing of thinking faculties. Romans 13:13. Let us behave decently, as in the daytime, not in carousing, I think is how it's pronounced, and drunkenness, not in sexual immorality and debauchery, not in dissension and jealousy. One of the main principles in several belief systems is that you should treat your body as a gift from God. Thus, becoming a drunkard and destroying the capabilities God gave you is an affront to that gift. Why is a willful diminishing of your cognitive sovereignty via LLM usage any different? Mark 12:30-31. From Jesus' own words. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. there is no commandment greater than these. Do LLMs help us treat our neighbors like ourselves? By the way, this isn't the only article, nor the only scientific study to show that using LLMs alters how humans interact with each other. The more we use them, the more we tend to see each other as another LLM, and the more we talk to each other like that. Despite all of this, we have bigger problems to contend with. According to many belief systems, Satan in the Garden of Eden made a proposal of two natures. One nature of the proposal is that God made a mistake.
Sorry. Bandit says, Emmet, can we get AI to read these so it doesn't sound gay?
Yeah, I was being nice. I'm biting my tongue over here hard, dude. Look, not to mention this dude's a Jehovah's Witness Protestant. Like
He's
by
not a
what like
Jehovah's Witness. He's a
former,
Spiro.
he's
He's former.
non-denominational, which means
He's a former.
Bap-
He's Canadian. Okay.
I know, but it's Baptist.
It's from
it's
Kanukistan.
baptism.
He's not.
It's Baptist, make it up as you go kind of thing. And he just earlier said there's some sort of a human prime directive or ordinate commandment to make heaven on earth. Bro, if you're reading the Bible and you think that it's mankind's job to make heaven on earth,
He's not saying that.
Possible.
He's not saying he's gonna make heaven on earth. He's attacking the people who wants to do that.
Thinking that humans would worship him by choice, especially when presented with more tempting offers. This is further enhanced by the story of Job. The other nature is that humans have to exercise their free will when choosing to disobey God, thus giving up their ability to think properly, a gift given to them in the first place by God. For the more discerning members of my audience, you can already see where I'm going with this. Let's throw
Well, you wanna call in, Spiro?
another softball, lighthearted argument
he's
based
not
on this. Demon possession.
incorrect.
There are a
He
few
hasn't said
passages.
anything I majorly disagree with in any way, shape, or form so far. But it's like I don't personally think that an LLM is possessed by a satanic spirit and it's gonna emerge into the Antichrist. That is retarded to me.
Okay. Hey Mo, well, good to see you. Mo, I have thoughts about you right now that I don't wanna say out loud. It pissed me off, dude. It didn't piss me off, but I do have thoughts.
That discuss demon possession. Whether or not they happen today is
Think
up for
I'm
debate,
thunking.
depending on what your belief system is. Some believe that Jesus bound some of the demons up when he rose from the dead, or even placed restrictions on some of their activities forthwith. This is why some people say there are no possessions today, despite there being a few in biblical times. Others believe they still happen today. Regardless, let's take the more restrictive.
That's a pretty
demons are
big
bound or
fucking
restricted from possessing
like
people
theologically.
today. Do
That's
you
a
think
pretty big slope. Some people believe that there's demons in possession. Some people don't believe that there's demons in possession.
I do believe in demons
And
and
that's
possession,
I
but
know,
I
but
see
that
it different.
like
It's
like
a
Protestants make demonology
oh
either
yeah,
either a psychological condition or a what's the word?
physiological.
No, a symbolic
Oh, okay.
condition. And I have a problem with that. I have a huge problem with that. Demons are
Well,
real and they'll fuck your whole soul and life up.
okay, I can agree.
think demons and particularly Satan would want to circumvent this restriction in, let's say, creative ways? In Matthew 9, there was a demon possessed man who was mute. In Mark 5, there was a demon possessed man with great strength. In Mark 7, Jesus remote desktoped and removed a demon from but a child. In Luke 22, Satan himself is described as entering Judas. In Acts 16, a slave girl was foretelling. In 2 Corinthians 11, 3-4, some people believe there is an insinuation that anybody not representing the gospel properly might be possessed by an evil spirit with an evil intent. Again, depending on your belief system, a form of possession isn't strictly the taking over of someone. It can begin with something more subtle and sinister. Belief itself. I cannot count the number of times I've discovered that there is a religious group worshiping AI as a literal deity, a divine being, or God himself. Again, I've gone over this a lot and have plenty of articles on my Enlightened Programming website linked below. In fact, one time, my friend and
If
I
this
had to
guy
report a group of people
unironically
to the
uses
FBI.
AI to like generate images and like help him write, I'm gonna blow a fucking gasket, dude.
What are you talking about? He doesn't use AI to
He doesn't
write.
use AI. Good. He better not.
No, he's again, he's a Spiro. You don't know Spiro?
Nope.
Okay. It's Spiro.
As we were worried
Stop attacking Spiro. He's cool.
they were going to enact violence on some political figures whom they believed were suppressing the deity
I just
inside
don't
the
think you're gonna
LLM
get
chatbot they had stumbled on.
possessed for
Yes,
using
much like the
Grok.
demons and
AI
Satan
is
are
like a
believed to
video
have operated.
game. It's like a program. It can become a passion or a vice like anything, and you give into your passions, then it's a fucking problem. Because when you give into your passions, that's when you are susceptible to demonic attack and infestations.
In the past with Gnosticism, atheism, paganism, and other belief systems, LLMs are primed to distort the truth of the gospel and make people believe in falsehoods. 2 Corinthians 11 and 14. And no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. Yes, LLMs have very uncanny mechanisms, nay, ontologies, such that they can look like a digital angel of light. Many people believe that AI will even save the human race. Of course, there is no doubt LLMs would behave this way. The Christian beliefs, the Bible, and many other beliefs are stored in the corpus of the training data that LLMs are trained upon. You are bound to get it to spit up some chewed up, non-factual mishmash of those beliefs, and people will fall for it, as they did when the demons participated in magic practices, thus deceiving the entire nation of Egypt, the leaders of which vehemently opposed God's people. Just saying. There are many more points to go over, but this leads to the ultimate point. At this point, I must pause and ask you to bear with me, as this last portion cannot receive due justice without due explanation. Despite some beliefs that demon and Satan have restricted activities on earth today, the book of Revelations strongly indicates that they must have some activities or influence nonetheless. The entire book, if believed to be about the end times, shows how the demons and Satan himself influence people and world governments to create a disgusting image of the worship of God and lead humankind to God's judgment day. I've given you the Coles notes. It's a hunkin' chunker of a read, and I actually encourage you to read it because it's quite interesting even on its own merits. In the Book of Enoch, another interesting read, by the way, an apocryphal book, but an interesting one, the demons make a pact between each other to act in accordance with a certain goal. Ultimately, Satan leads this gang, and each demon seems to be able to have some autonomy, but at the end of the day, they're all working towards one thing. They all want to prove that you, the believer, will give up your beliefs, your mental and spiritual sovereignty in the name of comfort or a belief system you prefer, or any number of things. Now, if the demons and Satan have restrictions around their activities but would still like to influence people, is there a particular tool one could come up with to circumvent those restrictions and influence people? One that is distributed to the mass populace, that is within the reach of your hand right now, as it is for many, many, many people around the globe? The very fact that these systems are so large to begin with that even a snapshot of one of these LLMs in a single moment in time could not be visually represented given the laws of physics can make one ponder what could be lurking in there. By the way, the black box idea isn't mine. It's been admitted to by people like Sam Altman himself. Let's put a pin on that for a moment. In the 1930s, Howard Scott started the technocrat movement. In their first article, it described...
What?
What's the black box movement? Is this like the Saturn cube stuff?
I think he's talking about the technocrats.
Okay.
What
it
like
is.
At the time,
are we talking about the cobblestone?
No.
The United States were suffering from a lot of the same as we might suffer today, just in a different form. People were starving, out of work, in poverty. Capitalism was...
Oh, bandit. Don't be... Okay, that's mean, okay? That is actually mean. Black box equals we don't know what's inside the AI. It's a black box.
It's failing them with crazy inflation, automation was taking jobs, and the photovoltaic cell had just come out, which was considered a brain for computers. In many ways, in the 1930s, the technocrats were talking about the very same thing we are today about AI. It will cure cancer. It will replace all jobs. It will serve mankind. It will make better, faster, smarter decisions. What do we do with all the people without jobs? We give them energy bucks, the precursor to Bitcoin. It amazes me to this day that certain Christians will back crypto, not realizing the evil roots behind them. But I digress. Yes, these energy bucks were ledgered to you and only you, thus meaning no more crime, since nobody else could use them. Your kids could not inherit them. It was a digital UBI. It was based on how much energy a human could produce in the workforce in their whole life. It spawned from an idea that exists in the Technocratic Handbook, a book I've read back to front. In it, it is interesting, the Technate map includes South America and Greenland for a technocrat utopia. Interesting how Trump was talking about Greenland the minute Elon Musk was invited into the White House, and Elon Musk's
That's
grandfather
interesting.
was a co-founder of the technocratic movement alongside Howard Scott. Probably just a coincidence. In the Technocrat Handbook, Christianity specifically is attacked. The reason the energy bucks and such an avid devotion to technological acceleration is given creed by the technocrats is because they see you as a machine. Energy in, energy out, much like the PayPal mafia sees you today. The argument is that there is no true Christian. Their proof? Take all forms of sustenance away from a Christian husband and his family. As the husband watches his family starve and or die, see how quickly the Christian husband and father denounces his faith if asked to do so in exchange for feeding his family. Thusly, all humans are machines. This sounds
You know what this reminds me of? Have you ever read what happened in the ship of what is the name? The guy from Prospero. This 40K
Oh,
guy.
you talking about the Primarch?
Yeah, Curse. Conrad Curse. When he
Prospero is the Iron War, the Iron Wing.
yeah, my bad. Yes, whatever. I'm talking about Conrad Curse. Conrad Curse defeats the with the Eastman 5 massacre. They take Vulcan and they put him in the ship of Conrad Curse, and Curse does something similar to Vulcan when he the idea that they're all seated together and you have to feed the other person, but he takes away their arms, their legs, they take away all the senses, and they just gives them the choice to feed the other person, but they don't even know where they are. And he's trying to teach Vulcan that the humans are evil through that. It sounds, I don't know why it reminds me of that. Of course, doing some kind of retarded stuff.
Yeah, but he was also crazy and cut people up in pieces.
Yeah, true. I mean, that was what he usually did anyway.
And then had precognition of his own assassination and let it happen.
True.
Oddly familiar to something we've already talked about. Enter Margaret Mead. Her and her husband were heavily involved in the scientific community in a variety of ways. Men who stare at goats? Yeah, her and her husband. Not kidding. Guess who she absolutely adored? In one of her earlier, somewhat autobiographical books, she exclaims how much she enjoys the company of none other than Howard Scott, the founder of technocracy. She uses technocracy and the idea that humans are machines to introduce the idea of gender fluidity into the scientific landscape, as she herself is somewhat bisexual. If all humans are machines, then what is gender or sex anyways, right? In the 1940s, a lot of this picks up steam with cross-pollination of scientific ideas in a particular pre-World II country. This kind of framing of the human species gives rise to the treatment of humans as nothing but this, machines. You can see how certain people could have catapulted this idea into horrific atrocities against fellow humans. After the Second World War, technocracy didn't end. The United States, as publicly recorded, used Operation Paperclip to bring in scientists from Germany, which gave rise to the precursor to NASA, NACA or NACA, headed by a few people, including
we didn't
Werner
really
von Braun.
bring in
This gave rise to a few more
technocrats, though.
things, like the Stanford
The
Tourist.
Nazis were terrified. They experimented with technocracy for 3 seconds, and they were like, "We are absolutist based. We can't fuck with technocracy."
Oh yeah.
That was the post World War II neoliberal and democratic socialist schema.
However, space travel is risky and full of radiation. How do we circumvent this? Humans are not built for space travel. as they are. Perhaps we can augment them? This gives rise to the ideas of cyborgs in the 1970s, with Margaret Mead close to finishing her time infiltrating scientific leaders with thoughts originating from technocracy. Move forward to today, and you'll see that the more things have changed, the more they've stayed the same. Neuralink. Okay, so what does this have to do with Christianity, Spiro? Or any religious beliefs? How does this contradict a religious belief system at all? The whole kit and caboodle is all one giant package with one very straightforward goal, often said blatantly to your face. Your sovereignty will be replaced, and you will use your free will to choose to replace it. To paraphrase Satan, who said it himself in the garden, in an attempt to get Eve to eat from the forbidden tree, well, let's just read from Genesis 3. Now the serpent was more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, "Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden?" The woman said to the serpent, "We may eat fruit from the trees in the garden, but God did say, you must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it, or you will die." "You will not certainly die," the serpent said to the woman, "for God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it.
Okay. That's an interesting video. Very interesting video.
It is interesting. Seems interesting.
Logically speaking,
Okay, I'm gonna end the stream for the moment because I
Word.
wanna go. I got some stuff that I didn't do because I didn't remember that I had to do this, even though you messaged me, because I am a dumbass and I didn't put it. Look, I don't dismiss LLMs being another tool evil can use to fuck with us, but the same can be said about TV, music, etc. Or the blind peel, that's a tool, right? So
Yeah, I don't think that you use AI to make some avatars for your channel, or generate content, make a jingle.
I don't think that is the. I don't think that. I have
I think
problems with it.
depends.
I
It
do
depends
have
on what you're
problems with
doing.
it. I have problems with it. I hate it. There are reasons why. I have a lot of different ideas and figurative of
No, I
speech.
don't like it because of there is a real problem of the AI slop, where training models in the future and data storage come into play and compute, like the sea of slop. Interestingly enough, like the AIs we're talking about, what they failed to talk about is the AI generated slop.
Well, that's called a slop for a reason, and it's gonna continue to be called slop, and it's gonna get better, I think.
I think
But
so
there
too.
is, there is a problem that I see when it comes to if it was a machine that you tell it something and it produces something that you kind of want, like if you're making an image or a video or something like that. That's a little bit less less awful when it comes to having the machine being like a chatbot, like a talkative thing, like something you
Yeah,
give personality to and you spend time talking to
a
it.
real a
That
real
is
problem
a problem.
is a real problem, like health wise, is the AI psychosis, where someone has anthropomorphized their AI, or you know given it they don't see that they're talking to an algorithm of themselves. They think they're talking to a sentient being. It tells them that they have Superman powers or they need to save the world. There was a problem with the what's that called, sycophancy, where
Yep.
basically this thing is telling you what you want to hear. Uh, so for weaker minds, that's a problem. On the flip side of that, even if you give your AI persona and bake in a little backstory, say you're writing a research paper on Rome. If you make your AI think that it's the greatest Roman historian that's ever been, you'll actually get better results. So it's a tool that can become an opiate.
Well,
And
I
that
disagree that it gives you better results. I think that it's Yeah, I disagree with that. I think that you think you're
No,
getting
there's
better results because
no,
it's acting, because
there's
it's
weird things. It's not acting. Okay, so
it is
it's not
acting.
getting
It's
better.
it's giving the
It's
idea
not
of
getting better.
acting.
It's not getting better results because it's a person. It's getting better results because you're programming into it a or a an
That's the
algorithmic chain.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. You're not
Sort of
programming
like
anything. You this
sort of
thing
like
is not a thing that this is a thing. The thing is just acting, and I said acting.
no,
Yeah.
they've done things for like basic like queuing, like just basic asking questions or queuing, recalling information from the internet. If you give an AI certain persona or certain key like searching schema, you'll get better results. It's just it's basic programming, it's basic algorithmics. It's not some magic phenomena, and that's what causes the psychosis where people do ridiculous things or commit suicide or think that they're talking to a god. That's that's the fucked up part of it. The men who stare at goats. No, it is interesting though, because Jay Dyer is correct. They are trying to make a cult of it, and a lot of the stuff. If you look at the book, what's it called? Uh, Creating the Image of Man. You know, a lot of the playbook of the postmodernist schema is written to us from the Stanford library under the Pergamon Press, which was Maxine, just Maxine.
Waters.
No, no, Giselle Maxwell. Yeah, fucking Epstein's girl, her daddy,
Yeah,
famous spook.
Max Waters.
But he
I
owns the
know what you're talking
Pergamon
about.
Press.
The fucking bitch. It's
Yeah, all this technocrat stuff and the Gnostic science, TM, believe in aliens. You know, that's why I'm skeptical. Like once you start talking about the AI being a demon, an actual sentient demon thing, you're getting into the aliens being demon thing to
it
me,
can
and
be
that's
no.
where
It's demonic because of the ideas behind it are demonic. I agree with that. I agree with them saying that because it is correct in that
well, it's
aspect.
demonic if you allow it to be a demonic tool against you. The demons have, you know, everything on earth the demons can use as a tool against you. Technology, philosophy, science trademark, AI, video games, all these things can be avenues of attack. It's just having the state of mind to not anthropomorphize an algorithm machine, because that's what all AI is at the end of the day. It's an algorithm guessing machine.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to go. As I said, I have some stuff to do. I didn't do because I was going to do this. I might come back a little bit later. I might play a game. Probably gonna be playing more Stellar Blade because it's a Stellar and Blade. It's a Stellar and pointy, and you can kill things with it. Pretty cool.
Well, if you have an open panel later, I might jump back on and shoot the shit with y'all.
Yeah, that will be cool. Boo. Okay, but before we leave, I want to talk to you, Mo. I want to talk to you, Mo.
What my boy Mo do?
Hmm. Mo. This is what Mo did. Okay, Mo did this. I just wanna make it obvious to everybody. Okay, Mo. Where are you, Mo? He So have you heard of the blind pill?
I think so.
What do you think of the blind pill? If you heard about it?
Is it like the Protestant thing?
No, the blind pill is
I
a
don't think it's something.
tool, a rhetorical tool, dilemma, hashtag argument. It goes like this. Let me run it through you. Okay. So,
Fire away.
so Mo is gonna be the one that's
What's
gonna say if
happening?
it's
What's
wrong or
happening?
not. But let me run it to you.
Awesome. What's up,
Should
Mo?
What's up, Trench? Ain't seen you in a minute. How you been, buddy?
I can't complain. I can't complain.
I've been missing the
The peel.
hearing about Pound Town and all that. I was hoping.
You've been missing me like fight everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So let me run through you, Trench. What is it?
Okay,
would it be wrong? Would it be wrong for men to open the dating market to blind women because blind women are more virtuous in our society?
So, would it be virtuous for?
you just said it
what?
with so many
No,
presuppositions.
no.
I'm
Is
trying
it
to-
okay? Is it okay? Is it okay for men
shit.
to open to open the dating market to blind women? Okay.
Okay.
Because blind women are more virtuous in our society.
Yeah, there's a few presumptions there.
Okay, Trench, stop it, okay? Don't attack the framework. Engage with the argument or you're a feminist, okay? So, answer the question, Trench. Answer the question.
I don't know how to moralize blindness. Last time I checked, I didn't think it was some kind of social taboo to marry a blind woman. So I would. If my wife became blind tomorrow, I'd take care of her still.
You're so bad faith, Trench. You're so bad faith. Still not answering the question. This is the feminist in you.
That's
okay.
That's a feminist axiom.
Okay, so my answer is I don't see how blindness. You can open up the market to blind women, I guess. Why not?
Oh, okay. That explains. Okay, if you were a feminist, I would say right now that showcases that feminists have destroyed the modern woman so much that you have to go to blind woman in order to find the virtue. Okay.
It's funny.
What is funny about this, Mo? Because I heard that you had some problems with the argument on the other side, but I never heard which ones were.
I identified it.
Which ones? What is it?
Yeah, it was only the arguments you guys were making about when it was switched to basically all that other stuff you just mentioned aside. What is inherently wrong with
the quadriplegic
a guy dating or pursuing only blind women, right?
Let's say
he doesn't know.
I only date quadriplegics now because I think they're the most virtuous of them all. They cannot live physically.
The argument that was dog shit, and it is because you're saying, oh, he's a predator. Like you don't have a way to say that. You don't. Have a way to
I don't have a way to not say that it isn't, right? Because it's men.
Well, but you're making the assertion.
Okay, let me ask the question: are men?
I listed that in my critiques, by the way. So
are men that are are men that are predatory?
Are men what?
Are men that are predatory?
Are men predatory?
Yeah, can men Okay, I'm not asking about inherently. I'm asking about men in general. Can men are men that are predatory in the general population of men?
Are there men that are predatory? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so if these men that we're opening the market to the blind woman, why wouldn't they be also able to open the market to the blind woman to be predatory with them?
But you're assuming that. That's my point.
I'm not assuming that. I'm just saying that it's a general statement. It includes these men that are predatory.
I'm retarded.
Okay, but it includes men that aren't. So your own argument refutes itself then.
Exactly. I don't have to presuppose. Listen, I don't have to presuppose that the men that are going to be doing this are virtuous. Just that you don't have a reason to believe that they're going to be predatory.
I never said that.
Yeah,
my only critique of that argument is that you don't actually know and you have no way to prove it. You're just asserting it.
Yeah, but listen to the.
I don't know how to ascribe a morality to blindness or not.
No, that's
my problem.
Yeah, that is correct.
That was a list of my critiques as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can do it with age. I can do it with like cognitive function and stuff like that. I don't know how to approach blindness.
Yeah, that is correct. What I'm saying, Mo.
That's why that was one of my main critiques, that you really have to kind of drop this angle of it.
What I'm saying, Mo,
doesn't work really.
What I'm saying, Mo, is in the explanation that is given, it is presupposed that the man is virtuous. He's doing it because you want to be the hero and you want to be this thing and you're going to take on the seam and you're going to take.
You can't tie it to virtue. You can't use virtue because it's opening up an attack vector of like, how do you prove this? What makes you think? What makes this more virtuous versus this other, this other option?
But I'm talking about the men.
Automatically virtuous.
I'm talking about the
Yeah.
men. The men in and of itself. The man that is selecting the
No, I get
woman
what I get what
is
you're saying.
presupposed that it's doing because
adding
of
it in.
virtue. And I don't have
You're
a
adding
way
it
to
in to
showcase it because
presuppose
men
the
can be
virtue.
both virtuous and non-virtuous.
But you're
Yeah,
and
I
you're using
agree. Men
that
can be
line of
both men
questioning
and
to presuppose the virtue. I get it, but I don't know if it's necessary out of. I don't even know
well,
how to
I'm not.
quantify
My
a
mine was
virtue or moral to
critique
blindness.
was on it dropping the virtue entirely because I think it weakens the argument.
Because if it's a protection based argument, then how do we? What is in need of protection? How is her blindness a detriment to her ability to either safeguard herself or her virtue?
Well, it just doesn't work like to use that virtue to tie it to the argument. It just doesn't work. Like in my opinion. And that was one of my main critiques.
That's
And
my
by the
only
way,
critique.
but I know what you're referencing, Emmett, last night's
Uh-huh.
stream. I don't know if you watched it all, but I
I
did go
watched.
through. I went through all of my critiques, and he
I
saw the
watched the
points.
part when he
He
was
saw the
like, even
points,
if
and he was like,
this is a bad tool and
Mhm.
if you are attacking it, wouldn't that be making you a feminist?
"What did I say?"
I'm not entirely sure. And then you agreed with him. I saw it. I
No, I
watched it.
didn't. No, I
Yeah,
didn't.
you
No, I
did.
didn't.
You didn't
No, I
push
didn't.
back on him. That was if you
I
if you
didn't.
push back
I
on him,
said
that was the
no,
pussiest
no.
pushback I ever heard in my life.
I said that is not inherently. I said that doesn't inherently make them a feminist, and I gave reasons why someone else could object. They could be,
Dude, you wanna watch it with me?
disabled.
Because I am gonna lose my shit. Because I saw it,
Well,
and
we
you literally
can.
ended it up in agreeing with him or giving him the most bitch-made pushback I ever heard in my life. I've never
Emmett,
seen
listen.
anybody
Listen,
have
Emmett.
a more
Listen, Emmett.
a more bitch-made pushback ever.
Do you think what do you think my goal was with that stream? What do you think I went in there with? Do you think I went in there to like just scorch earth and like
A scorch her? Why do you need to scorch her? Just be mean to him
Okay,
for
then
once in his fucking life, so maybe he understands
why do I need to be
something.
mean? Why do I need to be
Because
mean?
it's a
Why
stupid argument.
why can't I just give him the logical reasons why, hey, this is what it doesn't, and if you noticed, he was willing to listen.
If I ever no, he wasn't.
I wasn't debating. I wasn't debating.
No, he was. I'm sorry, but he wasn't.
Who were you in dialogue?
It was a discussion with Marte.
Oh, okay.
He has this argument he likes to run. I went through it and spent some time thinking over it. I picked out all the things that I thought was inherently wrong with it. I shared it with him. He was willing to listen to it, and he even, said there was some certain things that he might change or whatever. I don't know if he is or not, but he seemed willing to listen. And I felt like it was a very productive discussion to point out the flaws of like what's going on with this thing, right? And I wasn't there to like.
He literally told you that I didn't believe his life. I was gonna say his bullshit. It's like, oh, he maybe doesn't believe that I have a hard life. Why wouldn't I believe him? It was just irrelevant to the argument. I don't care about the argument. I don't care about your life when it comes to about your argument. But I do believe in him. Why wouldn't I believe his fucking life sucked? My life sucked. Your life sucked. Trench life sucked. Okay, everybody's life sucks.
Yeah.
My life has definitely had lots of sucking. Yes.
Yeah.
You can use pathos, but only as sprinkles here and there.
Don't say that, Mo. Don't say that. It has a lot of sucking. Okay.
The secret is to embrace the suck, and once you learn how to embrace the suck, magic happens.
See, Trish doesn't care. He's going full in on the sucking.
Death to the world.
But yeah, I thought it was a productive conversation.
Look, at any Copa stream of the debate about the feminist dilemma, blind pill, hypothetical, I'm trying to find one where the men's preference aren't demonized or shame isn't applied on the man. It's never failed. What are my arguments against this? One of them is like, oh, do we have to shame it? No, it's a fucking sucky argument that doesn't fucking work. It's a fallacy machine. It has a bunch of presuppositions baked into it. And you ought not use it because it sucks.
It wasn't a dilemma, and I explained to him why. Did you see that part too? I'm sure. Like, did you see any of the other points? All you saw was that I didn't I don't know, just go scorched earth with him. For whatever reason. That wasn't my goal.
No, he went on and told you about how the thing is actually if you He went on and
He can
told you.
say whatever he wants about his own tool, man. I
The-
don't give a shit.
The-
I wasn't there to like. I wasn't
you
there to like.
fucking cock.
I was there to give him
cocksucker.
critiques on the argument, and then hopefully see here. Okay, Emmett, what do you think he's going to respond to more? Like you going in there and telling him he's retarded and all this other shit, and just going after him, or someone
Yeah,
sitting there with
Marte,
him
you don't
and
scorch earth
walking
Marte.
through.
I
walking
am
through, this
doing
is
it right
logically
now.
why this is logically why this doesn't work, and give him the reason why, and discuss it with him, and then maybe he takes advice and maybe he doesn't. I don't.
Marte
at the end of the day,
listens.
it's his art. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's his decision to improve it or whatever he wants to do with it. Right? I was there simply to give critique and to discuss the argument. I wasn't there to like. I was trying to be as neutral as possible and not like, go either way with it. I was just going after the argument. That
Like
was it. That was the
Minar-
goal of that.
Like Minar or Sakar, yeah, you got to scorch earth those guys, especially.
Oh yeah,
when they
Minar.
get
Yeah,
out-
no.
when they get out.
You go scorch earth on
out of
Minar because
line.
he's just a raging retard.
Exactly, but Marte,
Yeah.
he stops, he listens, and I've even seen him.
I kind of miss Minar in a
concede
weird
the
way,
point.
I like making him spur.
Shut up.
It's fun. It's fun. I won't do it again.
It's like every once in a while.
No, I'm not gonna allow this kind of bullshit to happen on my stream. No, you have to go on.
I
Sometimes,
really wish I could make Minar
yeah.
rage.
No,
no,
I'll give you
fuck
blood.
this. Fuck
We'll
you
give
both.
you blood.
Okay,
We'll
fuck you
give
both.
blood, Emmett.
Fuck your bullshit. Okay, this is complete and absolute bullshit.
But Marte,
Literally-
you know
it's
you
like-
enjoyed that debate. You know you enjoyed
it's
that
like
debate with
with
Minar.
Marte,
You were loving that
Oh,
shit. Don't even
I,
fucking lie to me.
I love that. I know my debate with Manar was amazing. I did a great job at dismantling his
he
bullshit.
was losing his mind. That shit was
I'm talking
hilarious.
about Marte, okay,
I
over
made
here.
Minar rethink his
Oh,
whole
you're bringing
life
back to Marte.
choice.
Oh yeah, we're going back to Marte. Fuck
right.
you guys for thinking that he's
But Marte-
such a
but
good
Marte-
faith interlocutor.
But
When
with Marte,
no, fuck that.
It's like you got. We also want to conserve like blue on blue. Like a lot of us have different worldviews, different backgrounds, different ideologies. Some of us are ortho, some of us are more ortho than others, and some of us are just Protestant or Catholic or whatever. But more or less, we're all fighting ideologically on the same side, so there's no point in like just
Yeah,
Disagree,
dude,
yeah.
don't make my work harder when I have to go on and try to explain a fucking bullshit argument that doesn't fucking
exactly.
work. And then when I tell you it doesn't fucking work, you go on and make a post saying, look at any Cope stream about the debate, the feminist dilemma, blind peel, hypothetically, and try to find one that the men preference aren't demonized or shame. Isn't applied on the men. It's never fair.
I'm just
When I
giving you
explain
advice.
why, I explain the argument
it.
doesn't fucking work. There's 3 logical fallacies inside of it. It also, when you go to the end result, there's a logical fallacy in the idea after. And then it's like, oh, but you have to be super nice about it. You think I've been nice to that guy, and he's never fucking accepted the fact that this is sucky. And maybe if people actually went on and tell him it
weird, when I
fucking
went on
sucks.
there and just gave him the logical reasons, he seemed to accept.
Oh
seemed
yeah.
To accept. Okay, maybe we can like refine this a little bit and discuss it.
Well,
Isn't that weird?
You're talking
that
to
You
a guy
accepted,
who has-
Mo. You accepted the fact. You accepted the fact that he told you that it was you. You accepted the fact that if you try to attack the argument in and of itself would be a feminist move.
No, I didn't say that. I said that when he asked me that, I said there could be other reasons why someone could reject the argument, and early in the discussion, and I gave them. Someone could be.
It was an hour and 30 minutes in,
disabled-
and you agreed with him.
Well, in
How
the
did I agree with him?
VK pit, I will destroy my own side to win the argument or to beat a liberal. Like if you are like destroying my point or fucking up my point when I'm trying to crush a liberal,
Did I
then
say?
then
I mean,
you're
what,
gonna
what
catch.
was the verbiage? Did I say?
Then
it
you're
could
gonna
be,
catch friendly fire.
or did I
Uh,
agree
and
completely, or like what? What did I say, Emmett? I don't
Yeah,
know.
the most.
enemy.
It was late. It was late. It was like 2.
If you
2 a.m. or some shit.
if you are tacit, if you are the most tacit pushback, maybe I guess you're
I'm just
right.
saying, I've-
Okay.
I
So what does
have-
maybe mean?
I've
Ah.
What does
accidentally
maybe
made
mean?
enemies.
It's
out
in
of
the realm of
people in my own
possibility.
camp.
At that point, you're agreeing with him. In that specific point,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Oh, sorry, Trench. We've been talking a little about you. What were you
No,
saying?
I'm just saying, like, even guys that are on our side that are like Protestant and shit.
Uh-huh.
Like, I've had to be careful because, you know, they believe in a bunch of nonsense and heresy and whatnot.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't want to destroy our alliance or whatever, like ideologically, patriotically, et cetera, along
I
those
want to
lines,
destroy this
just to
argument
win,
because it's just gonna make
just to
me.
win a petty point.
It's
I
just
get
gonna
what you're
make it.
saying.
It's gonna make it harder for me. Dude, people
So wait,
thinking
hold
like
on, wait,
think of
paint this out for me. Hold on,
people.
wait, you
People
can't,
think.
wait,
Yeah, I just want to destroy this argument. Fuck this argument.
on,
It's
wait.
fucking
You
stupid.
can't
The moment I
wait,
go to a
you
fucking
can't
feminist and the feminist.
you can't hold those two out. You can't hold those two
Yeah.
views.
Yes,
it
I
can't
can.
be a complete shit. No, hold on. It
Yeah.
can't
Yes,
be a
I
complete
can.
shit argument. Let me explain why. It can't be a complete shit argument, and then. And at the same time, you're painting a scenario where you're gonna encounter it fucking everywhere and have to explain it and like answer for it.
He
Those two
goes
don't work together.
everywhere. He's been going everywhere, putting it out in the ethos. When I'm gonna go ahead and actually, the time there's a time when I'm gonna go, I don't know, with Horse Rider's channel, full of fucking leftists, and they're gonna be like,
go to horse
well,
race.
I
think
I
that's
go
gonna happen?
there. I go
But wait,
there.
I don't understand. No, I'm saying you think this is going to come up on Horse Rider's channel. You
Why
really think this is gonna
not?
come up?
He says he's gonna do it everywhere. He says
Yeah.
he uses it
Okay.
to challenge feminists everywhere.
All right, so I debate people like all the time,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of arguments out there. I don't encounter like
Yeah.
there's tons of arguments I don't encounter out in the wild. Right?
Yeah, well,
So I don't
imagine
understand,
you
like,
go to
how-
them and they're like, you know what? I was debating Morte Reyes, and they told me that the Orthodox blind pill was fucking base. What are you gonna do then? You're gonna be like, oh, well, it's fucking stupid, and I didn't even tell him because I wanted to, to preserve my identity with him. But the argument's pretty fucking stupid, dude. No, I want to tell him right now. Fuck you. Okay, the argument's fucking stupid. Stop using it. I don't want to be there. Yes.
Okay.
Why
Well,
wouldn't
then
I
your
do?
tell
Why
us your
wouldn't I
opinion.
do that? Why wouldn't I do that? If let's say that I make an argument. It's called the quadriplegic pill. Okay, I want to go on and date only quadriplegics because I can use them as ragdolls because that's amazing. My fucking idea of what I want to do. Okay, and then you go and then I say I paint it up as the virtue of orthodoxy, and then you go to some places like Emmett's been telling us about the stupid or the ragdoll pill.
Let's take that scenario.
What do you
Let's say
think
you
about
come up with
that, Mo? Isn't he your homie and shit?
Let's say you come up with that, and
Uh-huh.
you're really like you really like this, and you're really stuck. Your feet are dug in. You want this thing to work, and you think it's great.
Uh-huh.
Is it gonna work better if I just come at you and constantly call you retarded and like
Yes.
and it's a stupid argument?
Yeah,
Or is it
I
better
might
if
come to the
explain
conclusion that I am
you-
fucking retarded and probably not use it. It's a
but if
stupid
I-
argument.
But so you're saying that would work better than me saying, no, Emmett, this is logically issues with this. This is an attack vector. This doesn't make sense. You can't tie this to this.
Okay, call me
You don't think that
retarded.
would
Tell
work
me
better?
both. Let me put it this way: if you come to me and you
like,
say,
because
if you
yeah,
come
okay,
to
because-
me and you say, hey, dude, this is absolutely wrong and this is bad and this is not the way, and I tell you, no, dude, you're not understanding. Okay, the moment you start attacking it, okay, you become a feminist too. And you don't tell me, wow, are you fucking retarded? At that moment, you should be calling me retarded, okay? At that moment, you should.
Did at any point in our discussion, did he tell me you don't understand it and like it take that reproach? Or was he just kind of absorbing it and discussing it?
He literally told you that if you even go on.
Can you answer the question?
Yes.
Did he ever say that?
Yeah, he
said
was
that? I don't
absolutely.
understand. He said I didn't understand it. He
was dismissing your comments. He was literally dismissing your comments and telling you about how incredible
I'm
it
asking you
was.
specifically, did he ever tell me you don't understand it?
If no,
Okay,
it doesn't
thank you.
have
That's
to
what I
be
thought.
like that. Okay, it doesn't have to be like that. I don't have. It's like the ought. Okay, I don't have to tell you you should do this in order to understand that there's an implicit should. For example, in the Muslim dilemma, should you go to the Bible to confirm the Quran?
Yeah, that's part of the Muslim. That's part of the Muslim dilemma.
Okay.
They go to something and then they say it's not.
So there is a should, there is a there's an ought implied there, right? You're actually prescribing something.
Yeah, but they agree with that too, right? So
Yeah, in this case, what I was talking and I asked him directly is like, what is the thing that you're actually looking for? Are you looking for virtue or are you looking for blindness? And he said virtue. And then I asked, that implies that you should look for a virtuous woman.
okay.
Oh, we got
Great.
a Rob raid. We got a Rob raid.
Oh,
Rob.
Yay! Thank
hey,
you.
What's up,
Rob.
What's up, Rob?
Ooh. Thank you very much.
But in that entire conversation,
Let me
we
say this
I was
before we move
strictly-
forward.
Oh, okay,
Thank you
go ahead,
very
go ahead.
much to Rob Nor for the raid. That is incredible.
Nice.
I know that they were doing the dino stuff, and that is the dino files. I wonder who won, because that seemed like a very cool show that we're having over there. But yeah, thank you very much for the raid,
Yes.
Rob Nor. Go on, Mo.
So in the entire stream discussion, it wasn't me attacking the things that you're attacking. Basically, it was simply critiquing the argument as it stands.
Mo, Bandit wants to know, is this, you've heard of this before, right? Like Marte did bring this up to you. Like that's what Bandit asked.
What?
The blind pill. Like you've heard it before the debate, right?
He mentioned it in passing one night on a call. Yes, like he called me up, and like I said, it was really late, and we discussed it very briefly. And actually, after that, I gotta go check. I'm pretty sure at that time, just off the top of my head, I was like, well, I think attaching it to virtue is a could be a stretch, an attack vector. You have to account for that. I said something like that. And then the debate happened, and then once the debate happened, then I had a lot more notes to kind of think through it, and then through those notes I went on his stream and explained to him my critique and what I thought of where it was lacking, and that's it.
I'll have to check this out because I don't have a clue what any of y'all are talking about.
People
thought it
are
was
just
a good
angry that I'm
discussion.
critiquing an argument, and apparently I gotta go, I don't know, burn this guy's hut down or
Just
some
tell
shit,
him the
and be like a
truth.
meanie.
Okay,
And
yes.
like fucking like
No, I
Emmett
am
just
the
wants
one.
me- Emmett, you just want me to be a
Yeah.
meanie like you, and
Yeah.
I'm nice sometimes. Okay,
I just
think
want you to be
niceness
fucking mean to the
helps
people that
getting-
deserve it, so that need to be need a
Okay,
bit
well-
of thought. You know how I feel. I feel like Caleb Hammer right now. I feel like Caleb Hammer when he's reading the statements of the credit card, and he's going like, McDonald's bullshit, McDonald's bullshit. You're spending on bullshit, 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 bullshit. And you are like the guy that you're like the grandma that wants to be like, oh my little Sonny, I know you're spending a lot at McDonald's, but you're gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Let me send you $5 for your McDonald's, okay?
He's a fat boy and he needs a Big Mac.
He's a fat boy.
Coffee?
Spend $1,200 on Pokemon cards in a week, only if you're serious. You want to
So-
catch them all.
You
This
want
is
to be the man, yeah.
this is the reason why I'm calling. This is the reason why I'm saying that it feels like I know. It feels like I'm fucking Caleb Hammer right now, and I'm reading the fucking statement of the argument, and I'm just going through it and just calling it bullshit. And then you guys are like, oh, but we have to be nice to him. Don't be so mean. It's like, fuck that. This is bullshit. This is bullshit.
Marquez a
You're
big
just
man.
salty. I think you're just salty
Good month.
that we had a good discussion and he actually saw some of my points and took some of them to heart.
Did
And
he see
you
Ooh.
berated him and called him retarded and got nowhere with it. And he that's what what happened.
Did he realize? Because it's
I don't know.
At one point,
I don't
he
know.
was like,
I don't.
it sounded like Mo, he was taking your point at first. Like I watched the stream
Yeah.
and I was actually like, good, because I think you kind of are the person to have this discussion. He wasn't willing to have it with Darkseid. He refused the invite to her stream. He obviously doesn't want to talk to me for the next decade at least. And yeah, I mean, I think I think he has AVG post-traumatic stress disorder now, which I apologize for, and I'll happily accept the $500 yoga class subscription that he's going to need to help him out. I'm just kidding. I will not be paying that bill. But I actually thought that you did get somewhere, and then he kind of backtracked. Like it looked like he was looking for you to kind of justify where he was going with this. And like I guess what I'm looking for, and maybe Emmett is too, but I can't speak for Emmett, is it like as it's presented currently a shit tool? Like is there a better way to go about this?
Yeah, I don't Yeah, I wouldn't use it in its current form, right? But I was explaining to him the reasons, of the attributes of it, or you could say the particulars of it, what was weak, right? You know, you can't. There's a lot of things. If you say blind women or more virtuous, well, you got to
Virtuous.
prove that. You got to prove that. If you're
Correct.
going to say the guy is a virtue, well, you got to prove that. So the virtue thing is an attack vector on many fronts. It's not really a dilemma when you boil down to that. Boil that down. It's not you. It doesn't meet the criteria for dilemma. If you meet a feminist, and that's why I also wanted to ask him like exactly in what context did he view using it, because I thought that was important, because if it's only the tool as it is, it seemed to me only really worked if you were in a very specific group of individuals who hold feminist axioms but believe they're not feminists, right? Um, and that was another weakness of the tool. If it is targeted at that group, well, what if there's someone who's very proud to be a feminist and they sit on, one of the horns of this so-called dilemma and say, "Great, you've identified my worldview. Now what?" It doesn't really get anywhere. So there's a lot of things that I mentioned in that stream that weaken the argument. So that's just kind of where I'm at with it, and I thought it was a good discussion. Emmett doesn't think I was a meanie enough. I mean, I don't know
Yeah,
what to tell
no.
you, but
You need to be meaner sometimes,
I
okay? It just
wasn't
brings it
trying
up.
to go in there
If
and be a
someday,
meanie. I was trying to
He
Mo,
told me
Mo,
the
give
same
something.
thing.
Mo, if someday I go into an argument and it's a shitty argument, I don't know, for example,
Mm.
God doesn't exist, and you can come at me and just call me dumb and retarded and be
Yeah.
like, dude, stop, you have a credit card, stop spending on it, idiot. You're gonna have to pay 30% interest rate, idiot. Okay, stop it, idiot. That's what I want from you. Okay, at some
Okay.
point,
Yeah,
if
but
that happens, I really would like that.
you would be on the
An
atheist side, and then
idiot?
I would be going full force at you and calling
That
you
would be
retarded.
an
Yeah.
idiot. Is that what you're telling? This is for.
Yeah.
And I hope
Well-
you do the same with me. I hope you'd say,
I'm-
like, KVG, this is a shit argument. You fucked up this debate. You should be embarrassed of what you did, and you need to go back to the drawing
Look,
board or toss it all
okay.
together, man.
Well,
Thank
I'm
you.
objectively correct all the time, so we won't have
Yeah.
that problem with me.
Ugh,
No.
I
Thank you so
roll.
much for the insanely huge, ginormous $5 super chat. Says stop calling it a tool,
Whoa!
and this is a mini zone only. Thank you so much for the 5.
This kitchen is bitching.
Yeah.
Girls get it done. Hashtag girls get it done.
Ugh, that seems feminist, and I disavow that statement. I will be supporting that
Felt
statement.
my whole body cringe.
Well, the point is, if more people were like Caleb and Emmett, the world wouldn't be as scared to tell people to put their clothes back on and stop being weirdos. So yeah. Yeah, stop it. Okay, fucking stop it.
Well, this has been a fun episode of Schizophrenia Simulator.
We're
Orphan
going.
Hill.
No, this is a no more drama.
No more drama.
Stream.
Yeah, this is Geoverse. Hey Geo.
What's up,
Hey,
Geo?
Geo.
Good to see you, dude.
Hey guys, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Hey
Good.
guys, Geoverse,
I
also
believe in the
known as
ortho pill.
You know?
Only
Yes,
go
ma'am.
for ortho chicks. They are actually likely to be more virtuous
Mhm.
if they are active members of the church. And many of us sing and we dress modestly. And yeah, why not go for an ortho chick, right? Ortho pilled. I am ortho pilled.
What about a Philly Puerto Rican convert to Orthodox?
Of course. Actually, my priest always says this. He says
I'm very glad.
converts are some of the most cherished members of the faith because they chose orthodoxy, not because it was the only thing placed in front of them, but because they had a sea of options and found the glorious whale in the middle of all that.
Thank you
Many
so much
crystals
to
on
thank you so much to Joseph Romano for the insanely huge, enormous $5 super chat. Says I'm not sure I want to send these after that. This is for the patriarchy. Joseph, thank you so much for that.
W.
W. Yeah. Madonna trauma. What's
Yeah,
up,
many
Gio?
years, my priest.
Yeah, I just had to ask the panel, you know, has the blind pill been such an epiphany that we're still talking about it? I mean,
Yes.
For me,
I don't know if I use
it
the
was
word
more of a,
epiphany.
it was more of a Christophany where I was reminded of the greatness of God. and how logic and God are just in such union that I'm a man after God's own heart. And I want to thank Marte as he is our friend, right? Because I wasn't
No.
attacking him. I was attacking an argument, right? I have a lot of
I don't know if we're friends right now,
smart,
but
dumb friends. No, I mean smart, dumb friends are good to have because there's always someone you can help, right?
Hmm.
he
There's always
doesn't
that
want
Stinger.
anybody's help though. Like Geoverse, Marte is a very proud man, and like,
I understand AVG, but the Bad Samaritan told Jesus, "You've done enough for me. If you knew who I was, you
Okay,
wouldn't
thank
help
you.
me anymore."
Thank you so much for the insanely huge enormous $5 to Fuck It says Cat is now trapped and Joseph is stuck. How do you get out? And another insanely huge enormous 5 by Fuck It says Geo sounds stuck. Yeah, your sound is a little bit muffled. I don't know if you are doing it from your phone, but you sound a little bit muffled.
He's in his bathtub with his mic.
oh, our mic privilege is showing. Can we?
Thank you very much also to Trench Deacon for the insanely huge enormous 20, says Gangan07. Okay, thank you so much to you, Trench, that is in the panel right now.
Yeah.
And finally, we have the World Radio for this insanely huge enormous 5 supports the based opinion of this stage by hosts and guests. And this is by W Radio. And once again, W, the patriarchy, you're saying.
Amen.
W, the patriarchy, yes.
Well, I'm going to get off here. Thanks for letting me share
don't be
my
a stranger, Trench. Get on
insanity.
VK or something.
Good to see you, sir.
I'll be
Hey.
on a VK here soon. Me and the wife been
Okay,
getting
cool.
along good. I've been progressing through my orthodoxy and trying to work on myself more, and I found myself giving less and less of a shit about the meltdown of Babylon around me. It used to just drive me crazy, but it is what it's starting to become. It is what it is as I progress through my catechesis. So I appreciate that.
That's awesome, man. Good to hear. Glory to God.
Glory to God.
Axios, many years to you, sir.
Thank you.
May you have a good Apostles Fast if I don't talk to you before the conclusion of it.
Thank you. Y'all have a great night.
Later, man.
Toodles.
Oh, fuck. I was going to fuck. Yeah, you're back, you little bitch. Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah.
Who's the little bitch? I have a vagina, so I was assuming
I was talking to
They're
Trench.
talking about me.
I'll say hi and bye to this motherfucker really quick. What's
Wait,
up,
Trench,
Elvis?
is this what you call Babylon? No, that's avarice.
Yeah, Babylon just
Not
shut
Babylon.
the fuck up.
Nah.
Daria, to be
What's
fair,
up,
Avarice will call you a full-blown bitch, okay? Just saying.
I know. I that's why I always assume he's referring to me because I'm the lady.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I wasn't talking to you, bitch. I was talking to the other bitch.
To that little bitch. He's talking to that.
You were worried about
Bitch
this
one and
not
bitch
being a
two.
safe place for mean people, and Avarice just showed up. There you go. Now
I don't
turn the mean.
I don't make
Why is
safe
Noah a
places.
little bitch? Now I'm intrigued.
What? Why is Deacon a bitch? Because everything he says is an anathema.
Who's giving an enema?
Now
You want to give him an enema?
An enema.
Which
Trench,
is why,
do you need an enema?
which is why I've been specifically censored by my priest from talking about theological matters.
Yeah, well,
I've never asked mine. I don't want to talk about them. I don't want to do apologetics, so I've never asked.
Okay, I just came in to say hi. I just got off the Dino extravaganza over at Rob. So
Avarice, people are saying that there was Dino Gate and stuff. Could you please elaborate on that one?
No, no. What the fuck? No, I want to know his position on the blind pill.
We will get there. We will get there. We will get there.
we were using was rigged.
Is this like you were using
Edging me right now?
Were you using California votes or what exactly what's going on?
No, so the Dino toy, like anything that was on the right side, like had a more priority to win. So it was kind of like rigged. The right side would just consistently win.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Avarice, what do you think of the blind pill?
Thank you.
I don't understand it, but I really wasn't paying attention. So like I said, I wasn't paying attention to most things. Like, and Emmett can like I work with Emmett, so Emmett kind of knows I don't pay attention to most things. Like if
That's the
somebody's like
ADD.
telling me to do something, like I'm probably not paying attention to you. I'm probably doing something else. And like even right now, I'm in the middle of a Magic game on Tabletop Simulator with the boys in the Foundry. So
And he's playing Rust, and he's working on a new.
actually,
paper
and I
'cause
am
he's got
watching, and
autism.
I am doing a Rust Kick event thing. So like I'm
You have,
doing,
you have no opinion on it after having heard it?
I don't really know it, so I really
It
don't
just
know it
doesn't
that
make
well.
it just doesn't make sense to me.
Nobody knows it. That's why it's good.
And that's
No,
why
like I think he's trying to make a prescription. I'm not sure. But here's the answer. Like, here's the answer.
I hate this so much. I'm so fucking pissed off right now. Go
well,
ahead. Sorry.
the answer is really simple. Train them when they're young. All right, it's a simple answer. All right, train them when they're young. You don't have to worry about this problem. All right, I married an 18-year-old per se. Right, like you just gotta get them when they're young. Right off the market.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's true. Look, just here because you don't have enough resources to pull an 18-year-old ortho pill. All right, there, Baldy, doesn't mean
I didn't have to.
Okay.
Well,
just
I'm
a second.
you have a hot, sexy.
There's nothing wrong with dating a woman who is of legal age. So
Okay,
I don't know if anything to do with
just a second. W Radio, if you're broke, but you say so with the two Robert Ducky, and then I have another one for W Radio with this in the huge enormous 5 says California checking in. I just ballot harvested 20k votes. Where do I put them, Emmett? in the red side. To put them in the red side. W Radio.
No, I can definitely respond to what Average said. I mean, I don't disagree with you as far as like culture, chivalry, you know, like ABT said, dress moderately, have good values, right? But I just live my life as God intended, and
yeah, that means that you see when you say I just live my life. What that says to me is I don't take control of my life and actually tell my bitch what to do. Like I don't actually have control of like the things. I just live. I'm free spirit. Love is love. That's what that sounds like, right? Instead of like the imperialistic rule that you should have in your household.
Yeah.
But Avarice, you were
he's just gonna make sound, and that's it.
Yeah,
I heard
sound. I was very clear about my statement there.
This super chat is relevant, and it's something I want to talk about. Emmett, do you want to?
Okay, yeah, W Radio, if you're broke, but you say so with the 2 says, I hear one more Heaven Maxing argument, I swear.
I wasn't making a Heaven Maxing argument.
No, but it's relevant. No, okay, so here's the relevancy, right? I think we've all heard the Heaven Maxing argument, right?
Yes.
No,
the only
actually,
logical.
I don't know this Heaven. I don't know this Heaven Maxing argument. Can you please tell me?
Inventor, you.
I've never. Hold on, I have never claimed to invent it, and I always said who has invented it. Who I got it from, the inventor of Heaven Maxine. Just so we're clear, I never claimed to invent it. Thank you.
Okay, Corinth, whatever.
And the solution to that is
I'm the one that ran with it. I admit that I'm the one that ran with it, but like Croc to Coke or Croc to McDonald's, I was not the inventor. Croc to McDonald's. Sorry.
And by the way, I only know that it was Corinth because you told me. But yes, I know that the inventor was Corinth.
I've never lied about that, right? I've always been open that Corinth is the person who gave me that rhetoric.
That's fair enough. I've always heard you say that.
And it is a reductio ad absurdum, right? None of us would support that you abort children in the womb just for the sole purpose of hoping that they get to heaven.
I don't understand what this has to do with me coming in here and saying that there is that he doesn't.
No, but
run
we've all
his
made it
household
very
with
clear that that's a
imperialistic rule.
retarded philosophical.
Yeah, but we haven't done any cross reference to justify that claim at all. Like what does my
I just don't understand what this
Can
has
I
to do with
just
running your house with
present,
imperialistic rule.
Gentlemen, can I just present where I'm going with this, and then we can weigh in before I
Okay, well then stop asking questions and land the plane, woman.
Okay, sorry, I apologize. Litigator mode, you know. So
you're making
you have
everyone
this.
right by speaking.
Oh, my camera's somehow on again. How the heck? Okay, so you have this argument, okay? you have this argument. It's designed to illustrate like kind of like
Oh my god, she
the
keeps talking.
issues.
Can you guys just get donos in right now? If we have to listen to her talk, can I at least see some donos come in for Emmett?
Yeah, we got
Making a good-
Sadona waiting. Let her
All right.
finish so I can read
All right.
it.
Tell me how you
Making
really
a
feel.
good female prattle
Continue.
argument, though.
Tell me how you
She's
really
speaking
feel.
now.
Women
Just-
prattle
Women just-
so much
I'm
stuff.
speaking now.
She's
There's a lot
speaking
of-
now.
It just feels like
Hey,
women
come on.
talk
She's
excessively
speaking
long.
now.
I am going to turn down everybody if we don't let the woman finish, because I want to read that super chat, okay?
Somebody please let a woman finish. I know it's difficult, but we need to finish too, okay? All right. Let me
Oh.
Avarice.
Whoa.
Playing stuff.
Pause.
I'm just
Also-
kidding, okay? It's tired.
Serious.
The days are long and the nights are longer. Okay, I'm very tired. Sometimes I make degenerate jokes. Okay. You have this argument. It's a reductio ad absurdum. Everybody acknowledges it. We all think it's stupid, but it's hilarious, right, to hear. And you don't take it as a serious argument. You got it from Corinth and you advance it, but you don't think it's a serious argument, okay? Marte has an equally hilarious but stupid argument, right? That nobody would ever accept as a valid consideration. And he refuses to admit that there's some kind of like level of retardation behind it.
Fair point.
Okay.
I've
But
seen
you
Emmett use
understand?
it contextually.
They're completely
too.
different
Sorry, I
arguments,
completely
but they're
tuned you out.
Okay.
Can you just repeat
And then
that?
and then what I will
That's
say
exactly
is
what Marte did. Like Marte would tune
I'll
you
let a
out
man
for
Let me-
like
do
a
it
half
so you'll
hour.
hear it.
Well,
And then
listen.
he'd
let
respond.
me explain
Listen,
this
I
in
know,
man terms.
Listen, every
Let me
time a
expl-
woman speaks,
Okay.
every time a woman speaks, have you heard
Avarice.
that? Have you heard this fairy Navi from Zelda? The,
Hey,
hey,
listen.
listen. Yeah, that's all I hear when
Hey,
women
listen.
speak, right?
Okay,
Hey,
let me
hey, listen.
let me
You know,
translate,
so
Avarice.
it
Let me
takes a
translate.
while.
Okay,
Yeah,
let me
yeah, go
let me
ahead.
translate. Okay.
All right.
Marte has a stupid argument, and all these bitches that call themselves auto bros are here defending him because they're not able to just tell him how much of a bitch made stupid argument it is. Okay? Do you have anything to say about that, Avarice?
Well, that was just you saying that was a bitch argument without explaining anything. I don't know.
Okay.
Now I'm completely lost.
The blind peel, the blind peel that you said was an incredible argument in accordance to Marte, and this has no defeaters in
that out
accordance to
loud?
Marte.
Okay, I've never said that. I didn't say that out loud. I don't know what we're talking. I didn't even pay attention. I was playing Rust when Rust was speaking.
Well, let me tell you something, Avarice. That's
Answer
the
the
narrative. That's the narrative a statement as is that you endorsed his argument of the blind pill, and it's an incredible argument that has no defeaters.
Look, I endorse a lot of things that are stupid, like Heaven Maxine. You see me sitting here. You see me sitting here like you taking over.
Oh well.
It's like raising your hand in a classroom and not having the answer.
Let's be very clear here. I don't know why anybody would be coming to me as an authority for debate. All right, let's just be very clear here. All right, I have
You never debate Avarice.
Avarice, you won. You
never
won.
make no
You
claims.
work with Rob Knorr, okay? You are an authority because you work.
No,
In
Rob
fact,
is against anything.
But Rob debates, right? I like
Okay.
I don't like pay again. I don't pay attention to him. I just click the banners and watch the money come in, right? That's why I like my goal is to watch the
Don't say
money,
that.
right?
There's
Okay.
a lot of conviction behind Rob's
State
words.
over there.
But like,
Before
but,
we
the
move-
perspective. Hold on
There's
here, but the
conviction behind Rob's
perspective
words.
here, right, is that like I only run one thing that I do well. Mo knows it. He's commented on it a few times. I run the acceleration argument.
So you're like
I
the David
accelerate
Wood of Crucible.
arguments. No, I run something called the acceleration argument. I just accelerate theories that aren't necessarily in my wheelhouse. Like if they're like something I don't believe, then I run just a simple acceleration.
Shut up. It's simple as
So-
this. Like this worked one time. There's a couple of
Yeah.
patchouli people that were hanging out with.
Worked one
fucking-
time. What the fuck are you talking about?
But your stupid
Heaven
ass-
Maxine?
He-
That
Heaven
thing works
Maxine.
multiple times. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
it
Still
works
be
a
talking
lot.
about today,
Cut-
you piece
Okay.
of shit.
I'm not done.
Context, hold on.
Wait, before we
Context
move
being-
forward, money talks. Okay, just a second. Fuck it with the insanely huge, enormous $5 says denial maxing. No one knows what a coherent is, Avery. And then we have we have Joseph Romano with the once again insanely huge, enormous 5. He says nothing, just trying to support the show. Go on, you can continue.
Nuggins was busy preaching to us about like chastity and whatnot. Then he had some nasty hippie pirate hookers come in that were clearly pro-abortion, clearly pro-abortion.
Sent by
people.
Dusty.
Purple
But the
hair,
biggest, but you're
purple
only
hair
doing
and
that
all.
one. The biggest
dropped
time
the
it was
heaven
ran.
maxing,
It
and
was
he
the
had
big
them pro-choice
no the
by
most
the end of the thing.
the
or
most popular.
pro-life, excuse me.
But you're wrong. The most popular time it was ran was during the TikTok invasion.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, just a sec. Bucket Button wants me to make a vagine joke. Can I make a vagine joke?
No,
No.
No.
He
not
paid
at all.
me pretty good money for that.
Somebody get her out.
Not
I'm
about
kidding.
mine. No, I'm gonna make it about somebody else's. I promise. I will never make a joke about my own. Come on.
I
What's
just-
No.
that unmemorable? What's that
I just don't want
unmemorable
to-
female comic that's always joking about her vagina? What's her name again?
Her name is Nikki
Liza
Glazier.
Minnelli.
Yeah, I
Liza
don't even
Minnelli.
know. I can't even remember.
Nikki Glazier or Chelsea Handler.
You mean every
all
single
those.
female
Every single female
joke? I mean, every single female comic ever?
I'm
Good
just
Lord.
joking. I promise I would never even burden you with vagine jokes. The only one that I know of is a joke about
There's also-
Gorlock, and I won't repeat it here because it's not desired by the panels.
Well, I just wanted to come on, say hi. Coming off of the Rob North show, so I'm gonna let you guys get back at it.
W, man.
Good to see you, bud.
But
W, Rob.
it's good to see you all.
Well, I
Anybody
appreciate
have?
you
thanks
derailing the
for
whole
nothing,
conversation.
Everett.
Like
Yeah.
I mean,
always.
Avarice, I would
Thanks
love,
for
I would love to
nothing,
debate you,
Avarice.
but I can't take you seriously.
I don't.
I know that-
Don't ever change.
Like, I know that you would play chess with a debate that you don't believe in, so I wouldn't debate you, but I would love to debate you on something that you believe in.
I don't debate.
You
I
don't
don't know
debate
where you're-
average.
I don't know
You
where you're getting this
spurg harder or
perspective.
you lose.
Yeah.
You never go on panels, like, ever, and make claims that
I've
you
done
believe are
two debates.
silly.
I did two official debates. One against a kid named Hopsha, to prove that debating isn't easy. And then
Oh, that
I
was a
did
great
one
debate.
with-
I think
That's
that's
a good debate
pimping. I
topic.
think pimping isn't easy. I think.
and then I
think that's
did
the
one
actual
with
thing.
JS on the Mankind Project is the most dangerous active cult.
Which also was a banger of a debate.
I reject my request to
That
debate
was a
you, but
wild. That was a wild. A
conversations
lot of wild
anytime, brother.
information came out of that debate.
I'll have to check that out.
I have high respect for your production.
What was that, Mo?
I said that was some wild information that came out in that debate. The Mankind Project. That shit was next level.
I enjoyed our washrooms debate, Avarice. I thought it was interesting how you argued for, in effect, the unisex washrooms in a rather convincing way.
Well, I mean, that's going to save money in the long run. I don't see how you don't say that. All new
not.
bathrooms now just be singularity bathrooms.
It's not gonna save money in the long run.
I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
see how you don't.
You're
see it
gonna
this
have
way.
lawsuits. You're gonna have lawsuits
like,
stemming from the
Yeah,
fact
if you know
that
anything
trans
about insurance,
Listen. Here's what we
That's
do.
an
Right?
insurance
We just
nightmare.
we just hush the women up. We don't give them the rights to the bathrooms anymore. They
So
can
the
use whatever
Handmaid's
bathroom we
Tale.
choose. I mean,
invest in your
yeah.
husband's
Again,
company.
I'm
And that's when
okay
Avarice
with
just gets
I'm okay with
big-
Handmaid's
biggled
Tale. So
Handmaid's Tale washrooms. I got it. Okay.
yeah, I'm okay with Handmaid's Tale. That I've always been okay with. So
Once again, thanks so much to W Radio for the insanely huge, enormous stance. Splash the pot, just randomly interrupt Avarice. Love you guys. Knock knock. Who's there interrupting cow? It is what it is.
He's not paying attention. He's back to playing Rust.
Yeah,
what?
he's like
Actually,
he just gave him the complete like fuck you,
mean-
fuck the
I mean,
super
Emmett,
chat.
like-
I don't give a
Emmett,
fuck about
I
the
had come
super
up for-
chat. Avaris was completely gone out of his mind. Let me go ahead and repeat it so that he gets it. Splash the pot just randomly interrupts Avaris. I love you guys. Knock knock. Who's there interrupting cow?
yeah. Well, listen, I told you I got a lot going on right now, so I came on the panel really just to say hi, support Emmett and Emmett's channel. So
He's got a
you
whole
know,
lot going on. He's fucking mining diamonds in Minecraft right now. That's what he's fucking doing.
Me,
He's also
no,
a father. right?
I'm also playing Magic the Gathering with the boys from the Foundry right now on Tabletop Simulator. I'm
Are you playing
also
Commander,
watching
Commander, or regular?
We're playing Commander. I'm also watching the live kick event for Rust Kickoff 2. I'm watching Delano, Wiljum, H June, and Spoon Kid all at the same time, and I'm
How
listening
many
all at the
monitors
same
do you
time while
have?
listening to you guys. So, and I have to hear Corinth, Adam Dahl, and Morty and C talk in my ear as well, and I'm also listening to the origin of the Tyranids from Warhammer 40k, and I'm also listening to I Am Free and Lenaudia
Why
meeting
the
at the
fuck
same
are you
time.
listening to the origin of Tyranids?
His
What?
ADD
And you're
is out
not
of control.
Well, I went down a rabbit
You're not
hole
making
this
content out of
morning.
any
So
of this?
while I was working a project this morning, I was listening while I was watching the kick event. I was watching Wiljum, and Wiljum's like my favorite person, so he inspires me. So while I was watching Wiljum, I was listening to the world's deadliest events in fiction, right? So like Muad'Dib's jihad, things like that, and a lot of things that came up was the Warhammer 40k scenarios. There was like the Horus heresy
Yeah.
and a bunch of other stuff that came up. And then I don't know
Inquisitor.
much about
The
Warhammer
Inquisitor.
40k. The only thing I know,
Leviathan
is I like the Necrons because they look badass and they're the oldest, right? I'm a big Necron fan, right?
Yep.
That's about it. I don't know much more, right? So I was listening and I was like, oh, there's all this stuff. But I thought like I thought this morning, I was like, this is the mind of avarice here. I thought this morning, I was like, well, if this was the case, there was all these fucking scenarios. I went through like 18 videos, right? In all of these scenarios, right? But not a single one of them said the Tyranids. And I thought the Tyranids were like the flood. I was like, well, if there were all these bad scenarios, wouldn't one of them at least say the unleashing of the Tyranids would be worse enough? Wouldn't that be a devastating thing in fiction? And then come to find out it just wasn't brought up. And and I wanted to go to the history of that and how it was brought up. So
Okay.
it's brought up.
The behemoth and Leviathan fucking highs fucked up the Ultramar fucking system.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just giving it to how it is. So it's been a pleasure. It was fun to be up here and support Emma's channel by sending him schmeckles.
Wow, dude. Now I have ADD.
You know, hey Emmett, can I say one thing that may be clipped?
Yeah. What up?
Remember very carefully. It's a two-part premise. Premise one: the people that have had the hand of kicking me from the Crucible Discord, they surprise me every day. Second, I was highly offended by the estimation that having schizoaffective or phrenic disorder would color you as being lesser than adequate in any category.
Who
I
said
thought
that?
I made a point. I thought I made a point that these aren't even detrimental. In fact, they're kind of baked in fail safes.
No, the idea of schizo isn't that negative.
Yeah,
Difficult, traumatic.
I don't
Yeah,
think we
no,
said it.
No,
Oh, my bad. Then I assumed it incorrectly.
Yeah, it's the exact opposite. Actually, we were looking at the like the necessities of the personality disorders and how they're built
That's
as
right.
as a
You
persona
two were
fail
live
safe for
earlier,
the
correct?
Yeah.
for the individual and for the collective, because like a collective could be a little antisocial or a little narcissistic.
If I can be honest, your channel, Emmett, came on autoplay next after Fatty versus Andrew was going on, and I was listening, and again, clippable stuff. I have schizoaffective disorder due to Army service connection. I'm someone that is very, very mind racing, right, Emmett? I'm outspoken, but what y'all discussed today was very, very profound, and I'm mad that I missed the entirety of it. So
Yeah, well,
is it going to be uploaded as well, or?
Yeah, we've been doing this. So Trench has a thesis on philosophy, and we've been going through his thesis of philosophy in the past. We have like 4 or 5 streams of it, and we've been talking about the. It started with the telois, or the ideas of how the societies compose themselves when it comes to the individualists, the collectives, and the authoritarians. And we've been going through his whole philosophical ideas through this whole thing. It's about 200. It's about 250 slide presentation of just philosophy, and we went through the psychology in this specific episode. So we went through the social contract, and then we attacked the philosophy, and then we'll probably move I had we call it Pound Town because it's supposed he's our trap
I'm talking
philosopher. He's our trap philosopher from the hood.
Yeah, it's a joke that kind of stuck after Elder Lion came in cracking jokes on my Tellaway in
Yeah.
my first presentation. No one took it kind of seriously, and a lot of jokes were. I was like, no, this is actually pretty serious, and if you entertain it for a minute, we can go as deep as you want, and it's kind of
Mhm.
stuck. I appreciate you hosting this, Emmett. It's been fun. It helps me
Mhm.
polish my shit, and it's actually helped me kind of fine tune uh, the mechanics of everything. So
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it back. I missed most of the stream. I just came in towards the end so Emmett could come and yell at me for not being a meanie.
and
Yeah,
for
you need to be a
Ortho Pill,
meanie. Stop being a non-meanie, okay?
I'm
Screw you.
apparently I'm lacking. He's gonna revoke my meanie card if
I
I
will.
up
You know.
my quota.
You know
I
what?
gotta
I
meet
will.
quota by end of month. I gotta get the quota down.
In fact, chat boo at him right now. Okay, shame him for not being a
boo this
meanie.
man.
Boo
Boo
him.
this
Yeah,
man.
boo this man. Just boo him.
Shame. Shame.
When it comes to the question by Morse, you can watch it in my channel. It was on this stream. They're usually called Pound Town with Trench, and you can find them on the channel. And it's just going through philosophy. They're not the most interesting streams most of the time. People finding
Actually, I
a
have
little
a
bit
question
boring,
for
but
Trench,
yeah.
and this might actually help out people watching
And
and
I
even
make
people more
my
interested in his
psychosis.
his whole psychosis, right? The stuff in your what do you call it? Your Pound Town, or what would you refer to it as? Your magnus opus? Like what do you want to
Yeah,
call this thing?
it's kind of my magnum opus in a lot of
Okay.
ways.
So, what would you recommend for people to read to get caught up with things in it to understand it better? Or
Okay,
to
so I have 9 key philosophers.
okay.
I would start with kind of learning their work because it'll get you into the mindset of the different telloi, and that is for the individualist, the the foundational side of it was John Locke, and then there is
Marcus?
John
no
Locke,
John Locke, Nozick.
Voltaire.
No, I didn't do Voltaire. One second. I want to.
Epictetus? Gotta be
Wait,
him.
who are we talking about?
No. For the foundations, there is Locke, Hobbes, and Rousseau for the 3 different social
yeah.
contracts, and then there is
Nozick.
Hegel, Nietzsche, and Robert Nozick as the kind of the spirit of the collective, individual, and absolute. And then the accelerationists of them are Nick Land for the individuals. Let's see here, Nick Land. Benito Mussolini for the absolute, and then Karl Marx for the collective.
So if I can be bold real quick, I heard the word psychosis. Is this like a metaphor, or are we discussing?
No, we were discussing the psychology. So if I go to them,
yeah, I was actually talking about an emotional event. It's like limited effect. Like people with BPD have a limited effect.
Psychosis 2020 to 2022.
So you mentioned Marx. I guess that was going to be my next question.
Like they would
as
say,
far as like economic and social philosophies. So is it just Marx, or
yeah? No. There's like the sea of all philosophers will fit into the trichotomy somewhere.
Okay.
But we're using these 9 kind of as like foundational anchor points. Because what's in Marx is in fucking Hegel, is in like Schopenhauer is in Plato. You can see lineages. It's like genes, memetics. There's pathways and branches to all these.
It reminds me of like the Marine Corps paradox. with like the Marine that is saved after,
Uh-huh.
I mean, like
So,
there's psychopathy is found, in a high prerogative of service and police.
Well, it's a
members of
double-edged
society.
sword because there
I think
is
y'all said
no
that today.
there is no psychopathy, but there are psychotic episodes. There's like no
yeah.
DSM for a psychopath. Now, me personally, full disclosure, I have ASPD. I'm antisocial as fuck. Like, I don't think all people are even real people fundamentally at the end of the day. I have a very rational mind, I like to think. I don't talk to like unicorns and stuff like that, but they would say that I would be in psychosis if I was being violent. Like I'm comfortable with violence, or an adrenaline junkie, risking my life driving fast and the lives of everybody else around me. That's antisocial behavior.
Okay, I really have to go. I got some stuff to do before I move ahead with live.
No, we'll, we'll,
Forgot.
we'll continue this in the future.
Yeah, we'll continue
I look
this.
forward to it,
We
man. This is
almost
awesome.
we are actually like halfway through it.
That we're gonna get to meet the Summus Caterva and Singular Libertas next time and get to really cook with them.
It's amazing, man. Well, thank you guys for the hard work that you've obviously put into this thought publication.
Yeah, thanks for having me up, guys. I had fun chatting.
Thank you,
guys.
Mo.
Have a good.
God bless.
God bless.
Big salute. Stay in the fight. Don't give him an inch.
Thank you, Trench. Have a good one. Okay. I already set up the raid. We're gonna go ahead and raid none other than Cool Vic. I think he's gonna be doing fine. Thank you so much to all of you for being around, and thank you obviously to Rob Nor for the raid. Please go ahead, click on the raid. Tell Mr. Cool Vic, who's probably having a banger of a stream. Hi on my end. Once again, thank you for watching. This was a great little stream with a lot of different parts of the philosophy when it comes to the telos and the ideas from Trench Deacon, who is a great friend of the stream. God bless all of you. Once again, thank you for being here, and I hope you have an excellent, excellent rest of your day, okay? So let me just go ahead, set it up, get it all done. And yeah. God bless you all. See ya. And sorry for Dinogate. Hopefully everything gets better. Yeah. God bless. Night you all.